Chapter 97. Good. Since Grandmaster Hui Yuan has said so, then I'll respectfully accept. From today onwards, Hui Yuan will be my second disciple. As my disciple, you can't lower yourself when you go out and be questioned. In the future, if they ask who your master is, you can just say the Xuanzong Sect's Sect Master Lin Rei. I believe that in the next few years, my Xuanzong Sect will become the overlord of the entire mysterious Sky Sect. As he spoke, not only did Lin Li's body radiate a domineering aura, but his clothes also fluttered despite the lack of wind. If it wasn't for the fact that they already knew Lin Li's level of cultivation, they definitely would have thought that the person standing in front of them was a transcendent expert. I already said that I don't want to leave my master, and I didn't agree to be your disciple. This is all your wishful thinking. Looking at Lin Rei's expression, alienation felt a wave of displeasure, but with his master beside him, he couldn't act up. Alienation, this is your fault. Didn't Benefactor Lin Rei already say that? As long as you acknowledge him as your master, then you can bring glory to your family. This way, when you go out, your master will also be proud. Let's not talk about Benefactor Lin's cultivation for now. Just the 9 revolutions golden body technique that Benefactor Lin took out is enough to prove how big the power behind him is. Now, let alone spirit stones, I can't even get a good cultivation method. Master, don't say any more. Alienation couldn't bear to listen to his master's words anymore. So he interrupted Hui Yuan and said, Master, I don't care about bringing glory to our family. The only thing I care about is you. You saved me as your disciple. So if anything happens to you, then alienation, you're not being honest. If you're worried about Grandmaster Hui Yuan, then I can introduce him to a sect. This sect has very good resources. If there's anything you need, as long as it's within my means, just tell me. Lin Rei became even more anxious when he saw how worried alienation was. In the end, he directly cut off alienation's path of retreat. As long as alienation did not have any worries, then this disciple of his would not have any hope. Benefactor, you're being too serious. Although the sect has nothing, I won't leave. The sect took me in when I was young and nurtured me. Even if I die, I won't leave the sect. Looking at Hui Yuan's resolute expression, Lin Rei knew that this path would not work. Estrangement. Just follow Benefactor Lin. I really want to see you, the one who shook the entire mysterious heavenly mainland. I don't want to see such a good seedling die in my hands. Let's go. Seeing Grandmaster Hui Yuan's bitter persuasion, Hui Yuan finally nodded with tears in his eyes. Seeing this scene, Lin Rei was overjoyed. That's great. That's really great. This time, I can go to the east with peace of mind. That's right, isn't it? But you can't cause trouble outside. Even if you're not my disciple, you're my adopted son now. Do you understand? After you become my disciple, you must listen to Benefactor Lin's words. You must not make Benefactor Lin angry. Seeing how Grandmaster Hui Yuan was still looking at alienation, Lin Rei's hair stood on end. Grandmaster Hui Yuan spoke to alienation for almost 4 hours, as if he was chanting scriptures. Only when Lin Rei said that he was hungry did Grandmaster Hui Yuan reluctantly give up. That's all for now. Let alienation bring Benefactor Lin to his room to rest. I'll definitely give Benefactor Lin the map of the teleportation formation tomorrow. Yes, Father. I'll bring Master over first. Upon hearing Hui Yuan's words, alienation hurriedly walked out and bowed to Hui Yuan. Then, he brought Lin Rei out of the room. Sai, this is great. Alienation finally has his own place to go. It's time for me to do my own things. The people who left didn't notice that when they stepped out of the room, Hui Yuan, who originally had a benevolent expression, stared into the distance with a murderous look. His voice was like the voice of an evil spirit from hell. It was extremely terrifying. Host, you've gotten a great deal this time. Do you know? Not only did you get alienation's news, even that person who calls himself Hui Yuan is a simple character. Lin Rei walked out with a smile on his face. He was happily enjoying the joy of taking in a disciple. At this time, the system's spirit Little Dragon's voice sounded. Moreover, the message was particularly eye-catching. What? Grandmaster Hui Yuan isn't a simple mission. What's going on? Tell me about it. After hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rei immediately became interested. I didn't take a close look at this person who calls himself Hui Yuan. However, when you left his room, a huge killing intent came out of the room. Although it was controlled by Hui Yuan in an instant, as the system's spirit, I've seen everything. Although it was only for a moment, I could sense that this Hui Yuan is a cultivator at the unification stage. Moreover, he's at the peak of the unification stage. Peak of the unification stage. This sentence was enough to arouse Lin Rei's suspicion. What made him even more suspicious was why he didn't teach alienation when he had such a good cultivation. Instead, he let such a good seedling be buried. What's wrong? Are you afraid? But you don't have to worry. I can sense that his killing intent wasn't directed at you at all. So, you can just focus on completing the mission of the 1-year agreement. Besides, you've taken in such a talented disciple. Don't you plan to give him a good greeting gift? You think I'm afraid? Hearing the little dragon's doubts about him, Lin Rei was very unhappy. However, thinking that his newly accepted disciple was still by his side, he didn't say much. That's enough. Let's end this matter here. Since Hui Yuan doesn't want to say, then I don't need to listen. As long as he doesn't interfere with my matters, it's fine. If he does, I don't mind sending him to hell. With that, Lin Rei's mouth couldn't help but curl up. He touched his nose with one hand and said indifferently, Master, we're here. At this time, a very uncoordinated voice was transmitted into Lin Rei's ears. Lin Rei, who was talking to the little dragon, quickly woke up. Looking at the room in front of him, Lin Rei didn't show too much. Well, come in with me. I want to tell you about my principles and sect rules. With that said, without waiting for alienation to say anything, he directly pushed the door open and sat directly on the bed. Alienation also stood by the side obediently. I don't have any special rules. I don't have any special rules as long as you can remember 3 points. First, you must love and tolerate each other in the same sect. You must not fight for any benefits. Second, you must not kill the innocent. You must not be too arrogant and look down on others. Remember, you must not underestimate anyone. Third, and the most important, remember that when you are outside, you must not cause trouble. But you must remember that although you don't cause trouble, you are not afraid of trouble. Those who kill will be killed violently. Those who respect others will be respected violently. Other than that, there's nothing else. After listening to Lin Rei's words, Lin Rei's previous performance disappeared. It was also at this moment that alienation truly regarded Lin Rei as his master. Yes, I will remember. In the future, disciple will definitely remember master's words. I will not bring shame to the sect's reputation. And not bad. Looking at this disciple he had just accepted, Lin Rei felt more and more pleasing to the eye. The more he looked at Lin Rei, the more he liked him. Furthermore, Lin Rei could feel that alienation had already regarded him as a true master. Well, since you have acknowledged me as your master, master will naturally not treat you unfairly. As he spoke, Lin Rei retrieved a set of beautiful clothes from his storage ring, as well as a long sword that shone with a cold light. He handed it to the standing alienation, a smile on his face as he said, Disciple, this is a meeting gift from your master. Time is a bit tight, so I only have these low-grade treasures. How about this? When we reach your master's school, I'll definitely make it up to you. Looking at the clothes and longsword his master handed over, alienation looked at Lin Rei with tears in his eyes. His hands trembled as he accepted the gifts. Many thanks, master. Disciple has offended you before. I hope master won't take offense. And that's enough. Change into the precious items first. Oh, there's also this bottle of spirit chi liquid. Once you return and consume it, you will be able to break through your current realm and reach the next level. Hearing his master's words, alienation hastily took the bottle from Lin Rei's hand. Opening the bottle, his body immediately felt much lighter. Furthermore, he could even feel the barrier to breaking through to the next level of Anidia. Master, this is truly too precious. I cannot accept it. Furthermore, Master is currently in a crucial period of time to increase your strength. It is better for master to keep it for yourself. Hearing alienation's refusal and words, Lin Ray's heart warmed. He didn't use his hand to take the bottle. Instead, he smiled and said, "You can use it. Such a small amount of spirit chi is completely useless to the current me. At most, we'll be able to refresh my mind." Originally, alienation wanted to refuse. However, under Lin Ray's persuasion, he finally agreed. Alienation bowed and left with the precious items and spirit chi liquid. Haha, truly an inexperienced child. However, with my meticulous polishing of such an unpolished gem, I believe that he will definitely become a giant in the future. Lin Ray, who was alone in his room, couldn't help but laugh loudly. After leaving Lin Ray's room, alienation quickly returned to his own room. He drank the spirit chi liquid that Lin Ray gave him and began cultivating. Originally, alienation already had a very good foundation. After receiving Lin Ray's 9 Revolutions Golden Body Technique, alienation quickly broke through to the next level of Anidia. After breaking through, alienation didn't stop. Instead, he used an entire night to consolidate his cultivation for the next level of Anidia. The night was always so quiet, but under the quiet night, there would always be people who killed. Of course, some people liked it, while others hated it. As the saying goes, when the night is dark and the wind is strong, it's the night to kill. Peaceful time always passed quickly. Lin Ray spent the night cultivating. People gradually came out of the Putua sect. Slowly, more and more people came out. At this time, Hui Yuan arrived in front of Lin Ray's door and knocked. "Dong, dong, dong, Benefactor Lin. I am Hui Yuan. I don't know what time it is, but please come out and see me. I have already drawn the route of the transfer array." Hui Yuan, who was standing at the door, smiled and spoke to the inside of the room. His tone was calm and gentle. This was a completely different person from the Hui Yuan who was filled with killing intent yesterday. "Oh, it's already done. It seems that it's time for me to leave for the Eastern region to complete the 1-year mission." After saying that, Lin Ray got off the bed and tidied up his clothes. He opened the door and saw Grandmaster Hui Yuan standing at the door. "Haha, Grandmaster Hui Yuan, I'm really sorry. I didn't think that Grandmaster would send over the transfer array route so early. I've really disturbed you." As he spoke, an apologetic look on his face, Lin Li reached out and took the map from Hui Yuan's hands. Opening it up, he saw that all of the markings were clearly written on the map. There were some places that Hui Yuan didn't understand, and he had even made notes for them. Instantly, Hui Yuan's impression of Hui Yuan improved yet again. "Ha ha ha. Many thanks, Grandmaster Hui Yuan. With this map, I believe that I will be able to return to the Eastern region soon. I still have to rely on Grandmaster Hui Yuan. It can be said that Grandmaster Hui Yuan is already my savior." After saying that, Hui Yuan saw the sincere expression of gratitude in Lin Ray's eyes. Immediately, Hui Yuan's eyes were filled with satisfaction. "You're too serious. I only did what I should do. I can't be considered a savior. However, this old monk wants to know when Benefactor Lin plans to leave for the Eastern region. If there's enough time, I want to prepare some things for estrangement. I wonder if that's possible." Hearing this, Lin Ray knew that there was another layer of meaning in his words. However, the situation was urgent. If he delayed any longer, his life would be in more danger. "Grandmaster Hui Yuan, I really can't do that. My life is in danger right now. If I can't return to the Eastern region within a month, then my life will really..." After saying that, Lin Ray didn't continue. It could be heard that Lin Ray's words were very clear. As long as the other party wasn't an idiot, they would be able to understand what Lin Ray meant. Okay, then I'll go and talk to estrangement right now." After saying that, Hui Yuan directly walked toward estrangement. Lin Ray didn't stop him because there was no need. Since Hui Yuan was willing to let go, Lin Ray didn't care at all. Those people held the map tightly in their hands. The excitement in their eyes was self-evident. When Hui Yuan came to estrangement's room, he said a lot of words of concern and gave him a lot of things. When he gave him the jade pendant, Hui Yuan said with a solemn expression, "Estrangement, this jade pendant has a profound meaning. You must protect it well. Don't lose it. Do you understand? When the time comes, This thing will tell you a huge secret. So, you must protect it with your life. Okay, I've said too much. Hurry up and leave. Your master is already waiting for you at the Sect gate. Come on." With that, Hui Yuan pushed estrangement outside. His eyes were filled with tears and his hands were trembling. With a bang, Lin Rei turned around and knelt on the ground. He kowtowed to Hui Yuan and said with a trembling voice, "Godfather, I'm leaving. When I'm not here, please take care of your body. When your child's name shakes the profound heaven sect, it will be the day your child returns home." With that, estrangement kowtowed 3 times before standing up and walking towards the Sect gate. Along the way, estrangement didn't turn his head. He was afraid that if he did, he wouldn't be able to bear to leave. As for Linley, who was standing at the entrance of the Sect, when he saw the distant and dejected expression on his face, he knew what had happened and didn't say anything. He turned around and followed the route on the map to the eastern region. Chapter 98. What Alienation didn't know was that as he followed Linley out of the Sect, not too far away, Hui Yuan was standing at the peak of a nearby mountain. He watched as Alienation walked away, one step at a time. Only when Alienation was out of sight did Hui Yuan look away. "Sigh, I hope you won't hate me when you find out the secret of the jade pendant. Everything I've done is for your own good. Child, it's not that I don't want to acknowledge you, but I have more important things to do. I have to find the culprit who slaughtered my entire clan. The road ahead is dangerous, and I don't want to drag you into it. I hope your master can protect you well." If a stranger were here to hear Hui Yuan's words, he would definitely be shocked. He had never thought that the person who had always treated him as a master was actually his own father. Looking at the distance between them, Hui Yuan's reluctant gaze gradually turned cold. Finally, it turned into a gaze filled with hatred as he looked into the distance. The pressure from his body was released in an instant. Some of the surrounding flowers and trees withered in an instant after sensing the pressure from Hui Yuan's cultivation. One could imagine just how terrifying Hui Yuan's cultivation was. "Alienation, when we meet again, perhaps your father will have already taken his revenge. Perhaps we won't be able to see each other again in this lifetime. I hope you can bring glory to my Tianhai clan." After finishing his words, Hui Yuan glanced at the rising sun and sighed. Then he disappeared. No one knew how he disappeared. It was as if he had never appeared here. However, at this moment, Alienation, who was following Lin Rei to the east, suddenly stopped. He clutched his chest and revealed a pained expression. And, sensing this, Lin Rei turned around and looked at Alienation. "Alienation, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell?" Lin Rei walked over and placed a hand on Alienation's wrist. He sent a stream of pure wood spirit energy into Alienation's body. Then, he checked Alienation's meridians. He didn't miss a single spot. "I'm fine." After inspecting a strange body, she discovered that he was very healthy. There were no signs of illness. Master, I'm sorry. I don't know why, but just now, I suddenly felt a pain in my heart. It was as if my family was about to leave me. That kind of pain is something I have never experienced before." Lin Rei came to a realization when he heard Alienation's words. He knew that the day Hui Yuan and Alienation left the Pachuo sect was also the day he left. "All right, after we pass through this teleportation array and reach the next city, we'll rest for a day. If the pain is still unbearable, we'll make other plans." After saying that, Lin Rei crouched down and carried Alienated on his back. He stepped on his flying sword and flew toward the teleportation array not far away. When Alienated saw Lin Rei's actions, he jumped in fright. "Master, how can I do that? I am your disciple. How can I let you carry me?" Alienated didn't want to stay on Lin Rei's back for a moment longer. However, in the end, he was stopped by Lin Rei. "All right, Alienated, you are my disciple. Besides, I am counting on you disciples to take care of me in the future. So, you can rest at ease and recuperate. Do you understand? You don't have to worry about anything else." Hearing his master's words, the estranged man's heart warmed and his nose turned sour. The tears that had already welled up in his eyes completely fell in the next moment. Woo-woo, Master, seeing alienated crying, Lin Ray couldn't help but smile and say, "All right, don't cry. You're already so old. If others see you like this, they will think that I bullied you. Remember, no matter what happens in the future, don't cry. You must be strong. Do you understand? This is the only condition I gave you after you enter the sect." Got it. Hearing his master's words, Estrange hurriedly wiped away the tears in his eyes and nodded solemnly. That's a good boy. All right, the teleportation formation is not far ahead. Sleep for a bit. I'll give it to you when we arrive at the next city. With that, Lin Ray didn't say anything else. He moved his spirit chi, and the flying sword under his feet reached a terrifying speed. With his sound, it was like a meteor had flown across the sky. It was dazzling, but it would disappear in an instant. Given his current speed, in just a few minutes, Linley arrived at the teleportation array. Seeing everyone there, Linley immediately slowed down, then slowly put away his flying sword and landed on the ground. Looking at everyone, Lin Ray asked a man in confusion, "Hey brother, what is going on? Why aren't you using the teleportation formation? It's all here." "AI, what are you talking about? I don't know which big sect is so immoral to turn this public teleportation formation into their private property. Now, they're saying that they need a large amount of spirit stones to teleport. Isn't this making things difficult for us, scattered pearls?" After hearing Lin Ray's words, the person beside him didn't care who this person was and directly complained to Lin Ray. "Oh, it's become private property." Hearing the strange man's words, Lin Ray didn't think much of it. He had plenty of spirit stones. What he cared about the most right now was whether or not he could quickly pass through the teleportation formation. Lin Ray took a step forward and walked towards the teleportation formation with Alienated on his back. "Hey, brat, if you want to pass through the teleportation formation, you have to pay 300,000 spirit stones. If you don't pay, then hurry up and scram. Don't hinder the people behind you." As soon as Linley stepped forward, he was blocked by the two of them. Their voices were extremely arrogant and insolent. "I'll pay 300,000, he said. Lin Ray directly took out 300,000 low-grade spirit stones from his storage ring and threw them to the two disciples. Suddenly, a small mountain of spirit stones appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Wow! Seeing the spirit stones, everyone was in an uproar. They didn't expect that there would be such an idiot who would give it to them. "Can I use the teleportation array now? I'm really anxious." After saying that, Lin Ray walked directly towards the teleportation array. As the saying goes, people die for wealth and birds die for food. Some desperados were like this. They had already made money, but they were still reluctant to part with it. Brat, you actually dared to steal my Sect storage ring. You're really courting death. As long as you give me your storage ring, I will be kind enough to let you pass. Otherwise," seeing the person who blocked the way say such shameless words, everyone was speechless. However, Lin Ray, who originally didn't want to care about it, turned his head with an unhappy expression. Looking at the group of people, the killing intent in his eyes couldn't help but burst out. "Originally, I only wanted to use the teleportation array. Giving spirit stones is nothing. However, you guys are insatiably greedy. Since that's the case, don't blame me." A cold voice came out from Lin Ray's mouth. This was completely different from the gentle Lin Ray from before. "Haha, this is the first time I've heard of someone provoking my Heavenly Spring Sect. It seems like you're really courting death." When the group of people heard Lin Ray's words, they immediately became angry. It was as if their sect prestige was being challenged. In an instant, they rushed forward with 3 feet of cold light. Really courting death. Scarlet Flame Tiger, kill them all." Lin Ray didn't move at all. He only moved his mouth. A fiery red figure rushed out from Lin Ray's body and rushed towards the person who was rushing over. Roar, Kacha! A roar and the sound of bones breaking was heard. The group of people who were with the man all laughed when they heard the sound of bones breaking. However, when they saw what happened, everyone was dumbfounded, including the people who were about to use the teleportation array. Each one of them revealed an astonished expression. This, How is this possible? How can a demonic beast appear? When everyone saw what had killed the man, they were all stunned. Not only did they stare blankly at the scene in front of them, but the ones who were most shocked were those who had been preparing to kill Lindley. The group of people were so frightened that they fell to the ground, their bodies trembling nonstop. Roar! In an instant, the scarlet flame tiger threw the man who was killed to the side and immediately rushed towards the group of people. Suddenly, the entire teleportation array was no longer quiet. Now, besides the screams, there was only the sound of bones being crushed. This kind of sound, other than Lin Ray, no one else wanted to hear in their lifetime. When everyone saw the scarlet flame tiger killing people, their faces turned pale. Their teeth chattered, and their bodies trembled as they stood in place. They didn't dare to move, afraid that if they were careless, they would cause the scarlet flame tiger to be dissatisfied and rush over to eat them. All right, scarlet flame tiger, the man is already dead. You can go back. I still have important things to do. When I have time, I'll take you out and let you have some fun for a few days. Just when everyone was afraid, Lin Ray directly went to the scarlet flame tiger's side and placed one hand on its body. Roar! Suddenly, the scarlet flame tiger let out a few cries of grievance. Then, it turned into a fiery red light and drilled into Lin Ray's body. When everyone saw this scene, their mouths were wide open, and the shock in their eyes was self-evident. Lindley didn't care about this scene at all. He didn't even look at the crowd and directly put away the 300,000 spirit stones that he had just taken out. Then, he walked to the teleportation array and took out 2 high-grade spirit stones. He directly inserted them into the activation mechanism of the teleportation array. Immediately, the entire teleportation array was activated. In the next moment, Lindley and Yishiwen, who were still in the teleportation array, disappeared without a trace the moment the teleportation array was activated, leaving behind a group of people who were not only stunned but also dumbfounded. Although the spirit stones that came out of the mechanism weren't as dazzling as the previous ones, they were still very beautiful, and the spirit chi inside was still very abundant. Chapter 99. What Lindley didn't know was that after he left, the sects of the people who were killed came to the scene immediately after their disciples were killed and took everyone under control. Looking at the high-grade sword at the mechanism, the man's face darkened as if he had seen something bad. Only you guys know about this matter. If you dare to leak half a thing, I don't mind chasing you to the ends of the earth to kill you. After he finished speaking, the man brought everyone and the dead disciple and flew off into the distance. On this day, they had more experience than they had in their entire lives. In the Western Danzong sect, after losing contact with Lin Ray, everyone panicked. Especially Dan Yunzi. He sent all the disciples to look for Lin Ray. At this time, in the Danzong sect's Great Hall, all the elders and Dan Yunzi were sitting there with a heavy expression. Their brows were tightly knitted and they were sighing from time to time. Great Elder, what should we do now? The young master's whereabouts are unknown. According to Lei Dong's report, the young master is most likely the one who went to the Cloud Pagoda. It's fine if we know about this, but if other people know about it, then the young master will be besieged by the entire profound sky continent. Dan Yunzi, who was sitting at the top, was like an ant on a hot pan. He couldn't sit still for a moment. I also thought about this, but we don't even know where the young master is right now. How can we find him? Besides, with the young master's intelligence and wisdom, it's not something you and I can guess. Hearing the Supreme Elder's words, everyone present nodded in agreement. But now it's really urgent. If we don't hurry and find the young master and tell him the news, then we can bear the consequences. How can I not know this? But the young master's whereabouts are erratic. Before coming to the sect, we've never heard of the young master. Where are we going to find him? It's really worrying. Seeing the worried looks on everyone's faces, Dan Yunzi didn't know what to say. But right at this moment, Dan Yunzi recalled that Lindley had brought a retainer with him. Instantly, his eyes lit up, and he hurriedly instructed, "Come, go to Howren Peak and call Lin Ray's attendant, Lin Tian, over. He should have returned yesterday." After hearing the sect master's words, the disciple outside the door flew towards Great Heaven Peak. After a while, the disciple brought Lin Tian to the conference hall. "Brother Lin, go in. The sect leader and the elders are all inside." Looking at that disciple, Lin Ray pushed open the door and walked in with a puzzled expression. When he saw everyone in the hall, he was immediately stunned. Looking at Lin Tian's appearance, Dan Yunzi impatiently asked, "You're the attendant that Lin Ray brought? Then do you know where Lin Ray is most likely to go? And where is your home?" After hearing Dan Yunzi's long series of questions, Lin Tian woke up from his daze, replying to Sect Master, "I don't know where the young master went. The young master didn't tell me when he went to the Ling Tian Forbidden Zone." Hearing Lin Tian's words, all the elders and Dan Yunzi couldn't help but reveal a disappointed expression. "But the young master's home is in the east. Unfortunately, that's the place where the young master hurts. The young master might not go back." This was an important piece of information. Everyone present became alert. Seeing this scene, Lin Tian was a little baffled. "All right, Lin Tian, I'll send a disciple to find you in a moment. Then write down Lin Ray's specific address. If you have any questions about cultivation, it's a pity that you can come and ask me at any time. You don't need to report here. You can come and go as you wish." Such a simple sentence was enough to represent Lin Tian's current status in the Danzong sect. "Many thanks, Sect Master. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave first." And, seeing Lin Tian slowly leave, Dan Yunzi quickly stood up with a smile on his face. Grand Elder Baiyu, this time I'll have to trouble you too. When you go to the east, you must find the young master and bring him back. If anyone dares to stop you, kill without mercy." When Dan Yunzi mentioned Baiyu, his eyes were filled with respect. But when he said the last sentence, his eyes couldn't help but erupt with killing intent. "Yes, we will definitely complete the mission given by Sect Master. We will definitely bring the young master back safely." After saying that, the Grand Elder and Grand Elder Baiyu left the room and went to Lin Tian's room. After taking Lin Ray's address, they planned to fly to the east. In the past few days after Lin Ray disappeared, the entire continent was on the verge of going crazy. Everyone wanted to find the Cloud Pagoda. They were on the verge of losing their minds. The kind-hearted people only caught people and interrogated them before letting them go. But those self-proclaimed righteous disciples were much more abominable than those self-proclaimed devil sect disciples. In order to obtain the Cloud Pagoda, they didn't hesitate to kill the wrong person. This kind of behavior had already caused a terrifying destruction to the profound sky continent. Some sects were even annihilated in a single night. Some experts wanted to stop this from happening, but they were powerless. The profound sky continent was too big. They couldn't manage everything. But as long as they saw something, they would do something. However, the main culprit wasn't the person who obtained the Cloud Pagoda, but the desire in their hearts. As the saying goes, desire is the source of all evil. If there was no desire, then how beautiful would the world be? Therefore, the devil path wasn't evil. The most evil thing was the human heart. Good and evil were always in a single thought. It all depended on the choice of a person. Time flew by quickly. Unknowingly, time passed by in the blink of an eye. The originally peaceful, profound sky continent was now filled with smoke. All of them were fighting for territory. Linley, who had been heading east, was already used to seeing all of this. After Lin Ray killed the person who occupied the transmission array, he continued to transmit. Finally, after a month, Lin Ray arrived at the east. This was a sad place. When Lin Ray arrived at the east, a sad memory filled his mind. "AI, it's been a year. The east. I finally have the chance to return." Looking at the east under his feet, Lin Ray's heart was filled with emotions. A year ago, he was still an ant at the first rank of body refining. Now he could instantly kill a peak golden core expert. This kind of difference was something an ordinary person wouldn't be able to understand in their lifetime. "Master, is this the east that you've always wanted to come to?" Looking at everything in front of him, alienation didn't feel much different from the south. "Yes, this is the east that Master has always wanted to come to. This is the place where all of Master's sad memories are. This is also the place that Master doesn't want to return to in his lifetime. Looking at the sad gaze in his eyes, Alienation didn't understand. Since he didn't want to come back, why did he come back now? Master, since you don't want to come back, then what are you doing? Looking at Alienation's expression, Lin Ray's bad mood disappeared. A rare smile appeared on his face. I don't want to come back. However, there's a reason that Master must come back here. If I tell you, an inexperienced little monk like you won't understand. But now, the only thing that Master wants to do is to break your sexual abstinence. After saying that, Lin Ray grabbed Alienation's arm and stepped on his flying sword to fly to the nearest city. Ah, Master, don't. In an instant, a hoarse voice pierced through the air. However, the passers-by heard it, and some of them revealed sinister smiles. Very quickly, Linley arrived at the largest restaurant in Irrigation City, which was the closest restaurant. Waiter, bring me all of your best meat. I won't forget your share. Bring me the best wine, too. Understand? As he spoke, Linley took out a large bag of gold and tossed it to the waiter. Instantly, the waiter's face turned red, as though a chrysanthemum could be squeezed out of it. Okay. Please wait for a moment, sir. I'll bring the wine and dishes for you now. Looking at the waiter running to the kitchen, Lin Ray didn't say much. Instead, he smiled and looked out of the window. At this moment, Alienation was worrying about whether he should eat the meat dishes ordered by Master or not. Soon, the wine and dishes were served. Lin Ray forced Alienation to eat and drink. After Alienation had his first mouthful of meat and wine, Alienation couldn't hold it in anymore. Lin Ray didn't eat much of the meat on the table. Apart from the wine and meat, Alienation ate almost all of them. Ha! Looking at this scene, Lin Ray laughed happily. As for the people around him, they were speechless. Very quickly, with the speed of a whirlwind, the entire meal was gone. As for Linley, he had drunk several jugs of wine. If it weren't for the support of his cultivation base, in his previous life, he probably would have had his stomach pumped by now. Alienation, let's go. I have something important to do tonight. Today, Master will make you break your abstinence again. After hearing Lin Ray's words, Alienation, who was dizzy from eating, agreed without any hesitation. He turned around and immediately stood up, causing everyone in the restaurant to look over. What are you doing? Don't you know that this is very embarrassing? After saying that, Lin Ray directly covered his face and walked out. Alienation followed closely behind. Phew, I said, Alienation, don't scream in places with so many people in the future. Don't you know that we are cultured people? Hearing his master's words, Alienation looked at Lin Ray with a strange expression. You don't look at me like that. I'm telling the truth. However, what I said in the restaurant was true. Tonight, Master will take you to a sect to break your abstinence. With these words, the murderous aura on his body could not be suppressed. Everyone who passed by Linley felt as if they had entered winter. The coldness was bone-piercing. It was so cold that it reached their hearts and souls. Chapter 100. Master, can I not go? Foster father once told me that I shouldn't kill too many people and should muddle through. If I can't even do this, then I won't be able to see through the great Tao. This isn't enough for me, and it's also a kind of shackle for my cultivation. Hearing Alienation's words, Lin Ray immediately rolled his eyes. At this time, Lin Ray's heart was filled with regret. You should know that this is not the Putua sect. There is no such thing as muddling through without killing. If you want to survive in this world, the best way is to increase your cultivation. However, there's another thing that can survive well in this world. Yi Shiwen smiled and said, That's enough. You should know that this is not the Putua sect. Hearing Lin Ray's words, Alienation's worldview began to change. He opened his mouth and asked, There's another way? What is it? That is to kill. As long as you are more ruthless and savage than others, then you have the right to survive on this continent. Also, don't forget that you promised your foster father that you would make a name for yourself in the profound sky continent. If you can't even survive, then how can you talk about fulfilling the promise you made to your foster father? A sentence that couldn't be any more ordinary had become a priceless piece of advice for alienation. After hearing Linley's words, alienation froze in place. Not only was he in a daze, it was unknown what he was thinking about. Beside him, Linley chuckled and turned to walk away, leaving behind a stunned alienation. But when the passers-by saw alienation's appearance, they all looked at him as if he was an idiot. Right, I want to become strong. I want to fulfill the promise I made to my foster father. I don't want to become a trash that doesn't have the qualifications to live on this continent. I want to become a person above others. Master, alienation's eyes flashed and his aura changed. From the original gentle aura, it carried a trace of killing intent. This kind of change was undetectable by ordinary people. Even severed soul experts wouldn't be able to detect it if they didn't carefully investigate. Just as he was about to happily share it with Lin Ray, he turned his head and discovered that Lin Ray had disappeared. F***ck, no way. In any case, I am your disciple. You're so unreliable as to leave me here. Immediately, alienation, who had regained his senses, hurriedly chased after them. He quickly caught up with them and hurriedly said to Lin Ray, I say, Master, how can you just leave me there alone? What if I get kidnapped? Also, do you know that people are looking at me like I'm an idiot? Do you know that you're being very irresponsible by doing this? Master, that's enough. Let's get started. Today, I'll give you your first lesson as my disciple, killing people. After speaking, Linley didn't wait for estranged Yuan. His feet moved like the wind, and like a wisp of smoke, he dashed forward at high speed. Behind him, estranged Yuan didn't want to be outdone and chased after him. But in the end, estranged Yuan realized that no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't catch up. In the end, estranged Yuan decided to give up. Instead, he used his own speed to chase after Linley. Little dragon, how many days are left until my one-year mission to kill an elder of the Fengyun Sect? Lin Ray, who was walking in front, used his divine sense to sense alienation, who was chasing behind him. After revealing a trace of a smile, Lin Ray's killing intent erupted from his body. He asked the little dragon a question through his divine sense. Sai, there are only a few days left. I advise you to hurry up. Otherwise, if you die, I'll die with you. I don't want to die so early, so you'd better complete the one-year mission in the next few days. Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Ray suddenly felt a heavy burden pressing down on him. If he didn't hurry up, it was very likely that he would be crushed to death. Understand. I'll complete the mission as soon as possible, but I'm not sure if there are any experts in the Fengyun Sect. If it's an intermediate nascent soul stage expert, I might be able to deal with him. If it's an upper nascent soul stage expert, then... At this point, Lin Ray fell silent, and the little dragon also tactfully kept silent. In this way, Lin Ray quickly arrived at the Fengyun Sect's encampment. Huff, huff, huff. After hearing the sound of panting, Lin Ray turned his head to look at alienation, who had already arrived. You're really useless. I've already slowed down, but you still came only now. It seems that after returning to the sect this time, I'll have to give you special training. Otherwise, don't talk about making a name for yourself. I'm afraid you can't even compare to your senior sister. Looking at the late arrival of alienation, Lin Ray couldn't help but reprimand her. Although he said so, in fact, he was quite gratified. After all, the difference in their cultivation was not just a little bit. As long as you see any disciples, kill them. Don't waste your breath on them. This is a test for you, so I won't be following you. You have to be worried. The Wind Cloud Sect is gone because there's a nascent soul stage expert guarding it. If they come looking for you, I'll make it clear that I will not save you. I don't want a useless trash to be my disciple. Understand, Master. Looking at his master's indifference, alienation didn't blame him. He knew that his master was doing this for his own good. Who knew if today was discussed beforehand? This day was destined not to be an ordinary day. In a sect in the western part of the mainland, a plot to annex the sect was being plotted. Sect Master, according to the report, just a month ago, the great elder of the Danzong sect went out and didn't come back. Also, the supreme elder of the Danzong sect, Bai Yu, followed him. However, a month has passed, and they still haven't come back. Is our plan about to start? In this sect's conference hall, a group of people was discussing how to plot against the Danzong sect. Oh, is the news accurate? If it's not accurate, then our losses are not small. At this time, a middle-aged man sitting at the top said to the elders below. His eyes were full of worry. According to this old man's information, the Danzong sect is only left with some old, weak, sick, and disabled people. They don't have any fighting power at all. The only one who can fight against our sect is the other supreme elder of the Danzong sect. However, this supreme elder has our ancestor, so it's impossible for him to make any waves. Therefore, this time, we're sure to win. Now, we just have to wait for the sect master's decision. It's now or never. If we can take down the Danzong sect this time, our sect will be like a tiger that has grown wings. At that time, the central mainland won't be an extravagant hope. After hearing this elder's words, the people who were still hesitating were all blinded by the appearance of victory. Every one of them raised their hands in agreement. They could not wait to fly to the Danzong sect and destroy them immediately. All right, since this matter is a foregone conclusion, then we have to speed up our progress. We must take down the Danzong sect before those two return. Pass down the order. All the disciples are to get ready tonight. Tomorrow morning, we'll kill our way to the Danzong sect, take over their sect, and destroy their foundation. After saying that, Sun Sect's sect master suddenly exuded an invincible aura. Her hair fluttered even though there was no wind, making her look like an immortal who had descended from the immortal world. Yes, sect master. We'll do our best for the sect until our deaths. For the future of the sect, even if we have to die, we'll have no complaints. Instantly, after Sun Sect's sect master finished speaking, all the elders present shouted the slogan in unison. Their voices were as loud as a bell, and the entire Sun sect was filled with these elders' vows. Ha ha, great. With your help, there's no need to worry about Sun sect's future. If you do a good job this time, I'll definitely reward you handsomely. You can cultivate in the mystical water secret realm at the back of the mountain. After hearing about the mystical water secret realm, all the elders present jumped up in joy. To the sect master, the mystical water secret realm was a place where they could enter at will. However, to the elders, they had to have outstanding achievements to be able to enjoy the benefits of the mystical water secret realm. Thank you, sect master. We'll take our leave first. All right, you may leave. Sun Sect's sect master waved his sleeves and gestured for everyone to leave the hall. The conspiracy was carried out unknowingly. The sun hanging high in the sky was gradually setting in the west. Finally, night fell. This kind of night was very suitable for killing people. As the saying went, the night was dark and windy. Master, it's already nighttime. Why don't we start the operation? If we're late. Oh, you're still not killing? I think you're more anxious than I am. Lin Ray, who was waiting for night to fall, teased his disciple when he heard his disciple's words. I'm afraid of messing up Master's big plan. That's why I asked you to hurry up. Looking at Lin Ray's eyes, alienation seemed to have been seen through for a moment. His eyes kept darting around. Well, I like what you said. However, since you're so willing to break your vow to kill people, I'm quite happy to do it. After speaking, Lin Ray stood up and performed the butterfly steps to walk towards the Fengyan sect. Alienation was already used to Lin Ray's situation. Seeing that Lin Ray was far away, he quickly got up and chased after him. The master and disciple avoided people as soon as they saw them. They didn't want to fight them head-on. Okay, you don't have to follow me. Didn't you want to break your vow to kill? Now is a good opportunity. I'll give you a piece of advice. If you can't win, run. If you can't run, find me. Didn't I give you a jade pendant before? As long as you crush it, I'll be able to receive your help and come to save you at the first moment. After speaking, Linley left, leaving behind only Alienator. He quietly watched his master's departing figure, a foolish smile on his face. Only when Linley's figure disappeared from sight did Alienator retract his gaze. Wielding that 3-foot-long cold light in his hand, he walked towards the disciples of the Wind Cloud sect. Although these were all sneak attacks, and some improper methods, it was undeniable that this was a part of one's strength. Lin Rei, who left, also followed the route provided by the little dragon. He quickly arrived outside the room of the first person on the killing list. Looking at the room, Lin Rei's eyes burst out with murderous intent. "Humph. A year ago, you sent people to kill me. In the end, Red Lotus blocked that fatal attack in order to save me, causing her to still be in a coma. However, you guys are here eating and drinking. If it wasn't for the lack of time, I would have brought Red Lotus to kill you guys after saving her. However, time is running out. I have to protect my life first before I can save Red Lotus. So all of you could go to hell." Now, Lin Rei, who was at the door, stared at the room with murderous intent. He didn't dare to relax for a moment. At this moment, a voice came from the room. "Little Vixen, I've been suffocating these past few days. If it wasn't for the great elder protecting you, would I be like this? Sigh, enemy, do you think I've been feeling better these past few days? That old fart has no ability at all. He can't satisfy me at all. I also want to follow you every day, but after all, he is the great elder. We can't be so obvious. But fortunately, I don't know why I was suddenly called away by the Sect Master today. Didn't I have the opportunity to come here for a private meeting?" When Linley heard the voices in the room, he suddenly felt a sense of nausea. But as he listened to the contents of the conversation, Linley was extremely interested. "Hee, I didn't expect that great elder to be so cowardly. His Tao companion has been with someone else for so many years, and he still doesn't know. Moreover, this woman can play with both of them. It seems that she isn't a good person." Looking at the two people in the room who were exposing their white bodies together, Lin Rei's eyes were filled with disgust. He wanted to leave, but today he came to kill that man. So, Lin Rei restrained himself. Coincidentally, when men do this kind of thing, they're the weakest and least prepared. This gave Lin Rei an opportunity to take advantage of. "Hee, you're the one who's looking for death. You can't blame me for this." Lin Rei's face revealed a playful expression. Then, he raised the spirit energy in his body and instantly disappeared. When he reappeared, Lin Rei was already in the room. "I didn't expect that this teleportation would be so useful. It's a pity that the distance is a little short." Lin Rei didn't know that this kind of magic didn't exist in the Tianxian continent. If outsiders knew that Lin Rei had this kind of magic, he would definitely become the target of public criticism. He would be chased to the ends of the earth to kill him. At this moment, the two people who were playing a game on the bed suddenly felt a presence in the room. The man immediately turned his head, but it was too late. With a pu sound, the sound of a sharp weapon piercing flesh could be heard. A long spear had appeared in Linley's hand at an unknown time, and the long spear had directly pierced through the body of the man on the bed. "Who are you, why?" Chapter 101. Why? You still have the face to ask why. If it weren't for you, Hong Lian wouldn't still be in a coma. However, you don't have to feel lonely. Starting from you, everyone and everything in the Fengyun sect will become compensation for Hong Lian's coma because of your decision. After saying that, Lin Rei's spear moved and pierced the man's heart with lightning speed. At this time, the guilt in Lin Rei's heart lessened a little. Looking at the naked woman in the corner, Lin Rei's eyes were emotionless. With a move of the invincible divine spear, the woman completely disappeared from this world. "Hee, this is just the beginning. I want the entire Fengyun sect to pay the price for what you did in the past." Looking at the dead man and woman on the bed, Lin Rei expressionlessly walked out of the door without looking back. In a large hall of the Fengyun sect, the walls were filled with jade plaques. The jade plaques all flickered with a faint light. At this moment, the two jade plaques hanging at the top shattered at the same time. How is this possible? Why is it like this? How can the soul plaques of the third elder and the first elder's wife shatter? At this time, several disciples who were patrolling the hall saw the jade plaques shatter and immediately checked the owner of the jade plaques. The result surprised them. The owner of the jade plaques was their own sect elder. "Captain, what should we do now? The sect elder has died. This is not a joke. If the sect master blames us, we will all be punished." You are too naive. The punishment is small. If the sect master blames us, I'm afraid it will be impossible for us to survive. After hearing the analysis of his subordinates, the captain's face suddenly turned ugly. Obviously, as the captain, he didn't agree with the analysis of these two subordinates. You are all wrong. Our sect master is not as benevolent as you think. If the sect master finds out, I'm afraid we won't be able to die even if we want to. Therefore, let's pretend that we didn't find out about this. From now on, this matter will only be known by us. If anyone else knows about it, let me find out and I'll let them die in my hands. You can choose not to believe me, but don't underestimate my strength. After saying this, the man walked forward with a murderous look in his eyes. Behind him, all the important personnel trembled and followed him. Their faces were pale and their bodies were trembling. If Lin Ray knew about this scene, he would definitely clap his hands in joy. If the Fengyan sect knew that the sect third elder had been killed, they would definitely be on high alert. However, this captain had inadvertently helped Lin Ray. The sect third elder, as the sect master of the Fengyan sect, didn't know about this at all. At this time, the sect master was discussing important matters with the great elder in the great assembly hall. The great elder didn't know that he had committed adultery with the third elder and had been killed. Sect master, I think this matter, well, I am the sect master. I have the final say. Do as I say. If you don't do this well, then don't blame me for not considering our past relationship. The great elder in the great assembly hall wanted to say something after hearing the sect master's words, but in the end, he held back and didn't say anything. Well, I know that in the past year, you haven't gotten over your granddaughter's death. However, you have to know that your granddaughter is already dead. Now, you can only put your heart and soul into thinking about the future development of the sect. This way, you will slowly get better. As the saying goes, first give you a slap, then give you a candy to eat. This was the so-called power conspiracy. However, at this time, the great elder suddenly felt so upset that he couldn't listen to anything. I'm sorry, sect master. I can't convince you now, so okay. You can leave. Remember the task I gave you. You must complete it. Looking at the great elder's appearance, the sect master of the Fengyan sect thought that he wasn't willing to listen to him, so he directly asked him to leave. Before he left, he didn't forget to remind him. What's going on? Why do I suddenly feel so upset? This kind of situation only happened once a year ago. Don't tell me it's happening again this time. Arriving here first, the grand elder's face changed. She immediately stepped onto her sword and flew towards her own residence. What she didn't know was that at this moment, Linley had already arrived at her residence. All he could do was quietly wait for the grand elder to return. As the great elder was at the peak of the Gold Core realm, his flying speed was very fast. In addition, the great assembly hall was not far from his residence. In a few minutes, the great elder arrived at his residence. Why is it so quiet? At this time, the great elder, who had returned to his residence, felt that there was no need for any living aura in his residence. In addition, the disciple who had been guarding his residence was now missing. Gradually, the great elder, who felt that something was wrong, hurriedly took out his magic weapon and slowly approached his residence. Shwa! Just as the great elder reached out to open the door, a long spear with a cold light pierced through the door. Bang! When the great elder saw the long spear appear, he hurriedly blocked it with the long sword in his hand. Suddenly, the sound of weapons clashing was heard. At this moment, the great elder, who was unable to react, was directly hit by the power of the tip of the spear and was directly knocked 100 meters away. Puffed! The great elder, who was kneeling on the ground 100 meters away, spat out a mouthful of blood. Looking at the blood he spat out, the great elder suddenly became angry. He looked at Lin Ray with murderous intent and was stunned for a moment. How is this possible? He is just a child with you. How can he have such great ability? At this time, the great elder was completely in a state of confusion. He originally thought that it was someone of the same age as him, but when the other party really appeared, the great elder was stunned. At this time, Lin Ray's eyes were red. He looked at the great elder with a murderous expression and rushed forward with the invincible divine spear in his hand. What? Seeing Linley charge towards her, the grand elder didn't have the time to be confused. Wielding the 3 feet of cold light, she released all of her power and charged towards Linley. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam. The attack speed of the two was very fast. Every time they clashed, they would cause substantial damage to each other. In comparison, Lin Ray had the protection of the treasure armor, and his body was at the level of a treasured artifact, so the damage to Lin Ray was relatively small. Not bad. I didn't expect an old man like you to have such fighting strength. It seems that I have really underestimated you. Humph, you're not bad either. I didn't expect you to have such a cultivation at such a young age. It has almost overturned my understanding. I can't imagine how you did it. Although the great elder said this, it was obvious that his eyes were filled with fear and dread. Humph, I don't want to be entangled with you any longer. Let me send you on your way to accompany your granddaughter. As the battle between the two reached its climax, Lin Ray's face revealed an impatient expression. His tone was full of disdain as he spoke to the great elder. Humph, big words. After hearing Lin Ray's words, the great elder was about to say something when he suddenly felt that he was being suppressed by the child opposite him. Suddenly, fear arose in his heart. Humph, can you still laugh now? After saying that, Linley released all of his cultivation base, including his prized artifact-level fleshly body and his paramount lightning seal, which was still not too stable. Slowly, the coercive aura emanating from Linley's body began to press down on the First Elder. Instantly, the First Elder felt as though a 500 kilograms boulder was pressing down on her. Breathing became difficult and her movements became heavy. How can you? At this time, the great elder's eyes were wide open. His eyes were full of disbelief, but it was all too late. He saw Lin Ray's finger turn into the color of white jade and directly poked at the great elder's heart. Poof! Kacha! The sound of flesh and bones breaking came from the great elder's head. You dead. A peak Jindan expert, even if he were to enter any random sect, would be an elder-level figure. But he had been killed by Linley's finger, just like that. Most likely, no one would believe it. Looking at the dead great elder, Lin Ray's heart was incomparably carefree, happy, and an indescribable feeling. Ha ha! A burst of laughter came out of Lin Ray's mouth, but there was a trace of loneliness in his laughter. Although Lin Ray was laughing, his eyes were filled with tears. If someone saw him again, they would definitely think that Lin Ray was a madman, because it was impossible for a person to have so many emotions at the same time. But it just so happened that Lin Ray was an exception. Red Lotus, I have already avenged you. The main culprits are all dead, so the only ones left are those underlings. Soon, very soon, I will make them all die. Don't worry, I now have the strength of an Earth-grade alchemist. In a few years, I will be able to kill you. Very soon. Ding dong. Congratulations to the host for killing the Fengyun Sect's great elder and completing the mission. The host is hereby rewarded with 5 lottery chances. The rest of the rewards will be distributed after the Fengyun Sect is destroyed. Just as he was recalling Red Lotus, the system, which had been silent all this time, suddenly issued a prompt. After learning the information, Lin Ray did not show too much excitement. Looking at the great elder's corpse, Lin Ray pondered for a long time. Then he stood up and walked out of the courtyard with the invincible divine spear in his hand. Now, he had no intention to care about it. Just now, the little dragon told him that in the Fengyun Sect, except for the one at the lower stage of the nascent soul stage, the rest were all at the gold core stage, or lower. Lin Ray, who came out, got on the Scarlet Tiger and began a bloody massacre. No matter who it was, as long as they appeared in the Fengyun Sect, Lin Ray killed them all. He did not give the other party a chance to speak and directly killed them. Now, for Lin Ray, as long as they were not at the peak of the gold core stage or the nascent soul stage, they could be killed in a second. A strange Yuan, who came in with Lin Ray, had already killed until his eyes turned red. He, who had been devoted to Buddhism for more than 10 years, suddenly felt that he was wrong. Slowly, a strange Yuan experienced the pleasure of killing. You are all Master's enemies. I will not spare you. Looking at the people in front of him, a strange Yuan did not show any mercy. When he thought of the hatred in his master's eyes when he came, a strange Yuan guessed the wisdom of the world. The master and disciple pair killed one inside the Fengyun sect and one outside. Soon, there were not many disciples left in the Fengyun sect. Except for some people who were slightly stronger, the rest were killed by Lin Rei and his disciple. At this time, after the Fengyun sect master sensed everything happily, it was already too late. Looking at the disciples of his sect lying in a pool of blood one by one, the Fengyun sect master's eyes were immediately filled with murderous intent. Murderous intent burst out from his body uncontrollably. Who is it? Who dares to kill my Fengyun sect disciples in such a deranged manner? A furious roar spread throughout the entire Fengyun sect. When Lin Rei, who was in the middle of a massacre, heard this roar, a cruel smile appeared on his face. Idiot, I'm about to destroy your sect, yet you're still yelling there. How can an idiot like you still live in this world? When Lin Rei spoke, he deliberately carried a trace of spiritual energy, so his voice spread throughout the entire Fengyun sect. A strange Yuan, who came in with Lin Rei, immediately laughed when he heard this voice. Damn, Master is going to destroy the sect. When a strange Yuan saw this, the fighting spirit in his body was completely aroused by his master's actions. Evil creature. When the Fengyun sect master heard Lin Rei's insults, he was completely enraged. He followed the sound and flew towards Lin Rei. You're finally here? When Lin Rei, who was standing in the same place, sensed a monstrous anger, he knew that the ultimate boss had appeared. This time, Lin Rei's eyes were filled with seriousness. He didn't go overboard when he fought with the Great Elder. He looked up at the sky. After a while, a figure appeared. This person's body was full of vitality. At a glance, one could tell that he was the type of person who could sense things. You're the one who killed so many of my people. The Wind Cloud Sect's Grandmaster came to a halt in the air above Linley, looking down at him. Linley's face was filled with disdain, making anyone who saw him want to beat him up. You talk too much nonsense. Seeing the Fengyun sect master's style, Lin Rei didn't say anything and directly rushed up. When the Scarlet Tiger saw Lin Rei's action, it also rushed up. Looking at the Scarlet Flaming Tiger, Linley chuckled, then focused on his battle with the Wind Cloud Sect's Grandmaster. Bam! Bam! The sound of weapons colliding came from above. At this moment, Lin Rei realized that the Fengyun sect master in front of him wasn't as strong as he had imagined. It could even be said that he wasn't even as strong as the Great Elder that he had just killed. Die! Seeing this situation, Linley did not bother to explain. With a single thrust of his spear, he blew apart the head of the Wind Cloud Sect's sect leader. Instantly, red and white blood scattered from the sky. As for the corpse of the Wind Cloud Sect's sect leader, it was also eaten by the Scarlet Flaming Tiger that was fighting alongside him. At the same time, the Fengyun sect was officially removed from the Profound Sky Continent. At this moment, Lin Rei's name officially appeared in the eyes of everyone in the Profound Sky Continent. Chapter 102. Looking at the Fengyun sect in front of him, which was almost in ruins, Lin Rei didn't feel guilty at all. Instead, he was especially happy. The breath that had been stuck in his heart was finally released at this moment, although he still felt guilty about Hong Lian's coma. At this moment, there was no one left alive in the Fengyun sect. Except for Lin Rei and alienation, almost everyone had been killed by Lin Rei and alienation. Except for some who went out to do missions, the lifeline of the Fengyun sect was almost cut off. At this moment, Lin Rei looked at everything in front of him with a smile. Lin Rei didn't feel that it was cruel at all. Even if he was cursed by others, Lin Rei still felt the same. This was because this world was originally a man-eat-man world. As long as you had enough strength, you were qualified to survive in this world. Changes in times and the replacement of stars were inevitable. Phew, I finally completed the mission within the allotted time. If I had been any later, I'm afraid my life would have been lost at the hands of the system. Thinking of the previous scene, if it hadn't been for the help of monk Hui Yuan, he was afraid that he would have been a dead man. Ha! This is just the beginning. This is the first step in the establishment of my Xuanzong sect. I will let the Xuanzong sect have the scene of thousands of sects worshipping it. I will let the Xuanzong sect be passed down forever. Suddenly, Lin Rei looked up to the sky and laughed. His words were full of dominance, and his eyes were full of determination. Just as Lin Rei was feeling complacent, alienation, who had been brought about by him, came in front of him and stood there respectfully. Master, I killed a lot of people just now. I thought I was a very kind person, but later I realized that I was very sensitive to killing. When I killed people, I felt the blood in my body boiling. As he spoke, a strange face turned red, and he was filled with excitement. Seeing this, Linley didn't feel that there was anything wrong with it. Yes, I allow you to kill people, but you must kill people who deserve to be killed, and not people who are powerless. You must not kill people who are not your enemy, and you must not kill the innocent. If I find out that you have killed someone who is not your enemy, then I will personally deal with you. Do you understand? Lin Rei looked straight at the distant man who was looking at him. His eyes were filled with an inviolable intent. Yes, I know, Master. I will definitely not kill the innocent, but I will kill the people you want to kill. After saying that, a strange man went to the side and stood there like a pole, motionless and silent. This child is really... Looking at his disciple's appearance, Lin Rei felt helpless. Although alienation was an unpolished jade that had not been tempered by the secular world, it was precisely because of this that Lin Rei felt that it was difficult. He didn't know what to make of alienation's character. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for passing the one-year mission and successfully completing it. The reward for this mission is 10 million experience points, 50,000 exchange points, 30,000 reputation points, a strand of 10,000 tribulation thunder, and a teleportation array map. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for completing the hidden mission. You have destroyed a sect in one night. Yes, the host is now famous. The reward for this hidden mission is 50 million experience points, 50,000 exchange points, 50,000 reputation points, one use of the dimensional crystal screen for 10 minutes each time, one purple cloud crown, low-grade immortal equipment, can increase the user's defense, one purple jade royal hairpin, low-grade immortal equipment, can increase the user's attack. As he was thinking about the matter of estrangement, the system's voice suddenly rang out in his mind. Linley was instantly overjoyed. Hearing the system's announcement of the rewards, Linley was so excited that he was rendered speechless. That was especially true when he heard that 2 immortal artifacts had appeared. Look at you. Just this little bit of profit made you so happy. Right now, I'm almost wondering if I was blind to have chosen the wrong host. Just as Lin Rei was feeling happy after hearing the system announce the rewards, the little dragon's smelly mouth appeared again. In an instant, all of Lin Rei's natures were unable to be broken. F***CK, can you do it or not? Didn't I tell you before? When I'm happy, don't say things that make me unhappy or make me unhappy. Do you know that it's very rare for me to be happy? Why can you come and disturb me every time I'm happy? Did I do something wrong in my previous life? So I let you come and torture me like this at the last minute. Lin Rei said a lot of words, almost all of which were to say the little dragon's bad points. However, just as he finished speaking, he regretted it. In all fairness, if it weren't for the little dragon coming to save him every time, he wouldn't even know that he was a corpse now. Arriving here first, a sense of guilt arose in Lin Rei's heart. Don't be like this. What you said is the truth. Every time I come out to disturb you, you must not show an expression of guilt towards me. It's easy for me to make the connection. Listening to the little dragon's words, he felt that there was something wrong. However, after thinking for a long time, Lin Rei didn't think about it anymore. Although the little dragon said so, Lin Rei's guilt didn't decrease, but increased instead. Do you really think that I feel guilty towards you? It's just that sand got into my eyes, so All right, I won't argue with you. You should hurry up and look at your information. I'm afraid that after you see it, you won't be able to help but be dumbfounded. However, I advise you to be calm when you see it. Don't be anxious. Listening to the little dragon's words, Lin Ray felt a sense of uneasiness in his heart that instantly filled his entire body. Without changing to the little dragon, Lin Ray's mind moved and he appeared in his information space. Name: Lin Ray. Age: 15. Cultivation level: middle stage. Golden core experience: 06000000000. Spiritual roots: thunder, fire, wood. 3. Chaos spiritual roots talent: top-notch cultivation method: chaos scripture, incomplete. Devouring heavenly technique, growable. Hongmeng alchemy, entry cultivation method: cloud art, emperor level cultivation method. Martial skills: butterfly steps, entry level. Stellar finger, proficient. Silent thunder spear art, high-grade mystic martial skill. Now practice to the entry level. Can produce 3 lightning bolts. Myriad sword art, heaven level. Spiritual treasure: martial emperor godly spear, high-grade spiritual chi, growable. Myriad magic sword, gradeless. Myriad beast treasure furnace equipment. Cloud stepping boots, high-grade spiritual weapon. Purple cloud robe, high-grade spiritual weapon. Purple cloud inner armor, high-grade spiritual weapon. Purple jade crown, low-grade immortal weapon. Purple jade wood king hairpin, low-grade immortal weapon. Mount: red flame tiger, lower nascent soul stage. Lucky draw wheel, 9 champion draw system. The champion draw opportunity has been used up. This system has been permanently sealed. Reputation: 80,000 exchange points. 150,000 spiritual stones. 0 earth level alchemist. 100,005,000. Top grade spiritual medicine. Heaven and earth treasure: 50 kilograms of purple gold nephrite, 50 kilograms of purple gold sand. Mission: main mission: establish a sect within the next 5 years. If the mission is not completed or exceeded the time limit, the system will directly erase the host. Side mission: within the next 5 years, he had to recruit 5 of the best disciples. Every disciple had to be top-notch. Within these 5 years, he had to help his disciples make a name for themselves in the mysterious heavenly mainland. If he couldn't complete the mission within 5 years, he would be killed by the system, just like the previous mission. Main mission: host, please become a mystic level alchemist within a month. If the mission is not completed within the time limit, the system will automatically erase the host. Side mission: take control of the entire Danzong sect within a day and become the master of the Danzong sect. Pills: 30 body strengthening pills, 200 soul gathering pills, 50 foundation establishment pills, 11 mind control pills, 1 breakthrough pill, and 11 nascent breakthrough pills. 2 adversity surpassing pills. F***CK, what's going on? Wasn't I in the lower stage of the golden core stage? How did I become in the middle stage of the golden core stage? Furthermore, I only leveled up by 1 level. You don't have to be so ruthless and give me 600 million experience points. Are you trying to kill me? When Lin Ray saw his own information, he could not help but curse. His eyes were filled with helplessness. Oomph, do you think leveling up is so easy? If that's the case, then why do you still need me? What's the point of having a cultivation level? You must know that you've reached a level that others would need hundreds of years to reach in just 1 year. What else are you dissatisfied with? You should be content. After listening to the little dragon's words, Lin Ray fell silent. It was true, but when he thought about the 600 million experience points required to level up, Lin Ray felt a headache coming on. Well, don't complain. As long as you're willing to work hard, I'll still let you off a little. As long as you're willing to work hard like before, I believe you'll definitely be able to reach the top. If there was someone whose face changed the fastest in the world, then Lin Ray would definitely say the system's spirit, the little dragon. I'll tell you a piece of good news. Didn't you just get an alien crystal screen? If the little dragon didn't mention it, Lin Ray would have really forgotten that there was such a thing among the rewards just now. Well, what's wrong? Is there anything magical about this thing? But the name sounds good. With that, Lin Ray smiled, and the little dragon standing in the air also looked at Lin Ray with a look of disgust. Hey, what's with your expression? What's with your expression? It's normal that I don't know. Okay? I came to this world either to do a mission or to be hunted down. How can I have time to understand those things? Oh, I won't talk nonsense with you. The alien crystal screen I'm talking about is something similar to a space-time transmission tunnel. This thing can pass through space and connect to another world. You can see the people or things in that world, but you can't speak because even if you speak, the people on the other side can't hear you. The biggest disadvantage of this thing is that it only lasts for 10 minutes. The little dragon's words completely made Lin Ray excited because after listening to the little dragon's words, as long as one was a normal person, they could understand the meaning behind it. This also meant that Lin Ray could see his family in the 21st century. How could he not be excited? Really? This thing can really let me see my parents and brothers? You're not lying to me? After listening to Lin Ray's words, the little dragon was too lazy to explain further. The little dragon waved its hand, and a tear-shaped mirror appeared in midair. At the same time, the little dragon's hands were constantly forming hand seals. Quick! A loud shout came out from Xiaolong's mouth. The originally empty crystal screen instantly changed into several figures. Among them, a slightly pale parent was busy in the kitchen, and there were two children helping at the side. Wearing thin clothes in the cool autumn, it seemed so sad. Mom, brother, boo-hoo. At this moment, when Linley saw the figure on the crystal screen, he immediately knelt on the ground. Tears gushed out of his eyes like they were free. When he saw the woman on the screen call out Mom, Linley's body was clearly trembling. Mom, it's your son's fault. Your son can't be by your side to fulfill his filial duties. But I promise that in the future, I will definitely return. When the time comes, your son will never let you suffer like this again. Looking at the busy figures on the screen, the heart-wrenching pain in Lin Ray's heart couldn't be expressed with words. Lin Ray's hands were so tight that Lin Ray's nails had unknowingly pierced into his flesh. Blood flowed out from the wound, but Lin Ray turned a blind eye to it, as though it didn't belong to him. Mom, do you know how helpless your son was when he came here? Here I experienced the cruelty of the world, the horror of time, and the difficulty of being a human. Your son didn't feel any happiness here, but your son couldn't leave. Your son experienced the difference in the world, and it was completely different from our world. When your son first came to this world, your son almost went crazy. Lin Ray, who was kneeling on the ground, looked at the crystal screen and unconsciously smiled foolishly to his mother on the screen. He told his mother on the screen about the sadness he experienced when he died and came to the Tianxian continent. But time was limited. Before long, the figure on the screen disappeared, but Lin Ray didn't stop. His foolish smile disappeared, and it was replaced by tears and a pained expression. Just like that, your son became like this. As long as I can establish the Xuanzong Sect, collect the number of disciples mentioned by the system within 5 years, and make it famous in the Tianxian continent, I will have the chance to go home. Although I can't guarantee it, I will try my best to complete it as soon as possible. When the time comes, I will be able to go back and see you. As he spoke, Linley slowly stood up. He wiped away the tears on his face with both hands. Looking at the blood on his palms, Linley didn't pay it any mind. Instead, he stared off into the distance. After a while, he retracted his gaze. Alienation, let's go. Come with me and see how strong the foundation of this sect that has been standing here for thousands of years is. After speaking, he immediately spread out his divine sense and headed towards the depths of the Windcloud sect. A strange Yuan didn't say a word as he followed Linley. Chapter 103. After walking for a long time, Lin Ray's divine sense covered every corner in the depths of the Fengyan sect. Finally, in the truest crypt, Lin Ray discovered a large amount of spiritual energy leaking out. After thinking about it, he concluded that this was either the foundation of the Fengyan sect, or there was a heavenly treasure with a lot of spiritual energy here. Master, is this the place where all the foundations of the Fengyan sect are located? It doesn't look like much. Seeing Lin Ray finally stop, his eyes swept to the floor with different patterns on the ground and asked, I don't know. I have to go in to find out. Be careful when you go in. I don't have extra time to protect you. With that, Lin Ray came to the floor, took out the invincible divine spear from his storage ring, and blasted it towards the floor with all his strength. Boom! After a loud noise, Lin Ray looked at the floor, and his face suddenly turned green. Even a person at the peak of the Gold Elixir realm would not dare to say that they could block Lin Ray's spear. However, except for a scratch on the floor, there was no other change. Damn, what is this thing? Even my invincible divine spear can't pierce it? Looking at the floor, Lin Ray couldn't help but show a worried expression. He wanted to ask what was going on, but he couldn't bring himself to ask the little dragon. Master, what is this thing? Even you can't open it. Maybe it's a treasure? At this time, Alienation, who was behind him, came up and joked. Lin Ray, who was sulking, turned even more green. Originally, he wanted to show Alienation how powerful he was, but now, he was too pretentious. Linley didn't say anything. Instead, he began to ponder how to open up the floor. Alienation walked around the room, touching here and there. Just as she touched a lamp on the desk, she accidentally twisted her little hand, and a kacha sound could be heard. Damn this. After Lin Ray, who was on the floor, heard the sound, he looked at the floor under his feet and found that it was hitting a place. Damn, wait for me to go down, okay? With that, Lin Ray quickly jumped down and turned his head to look at Alienation, who was touching the lamp. His eyes revealed a manly expression. Not bad. You know how to use your brain. You definitely won't be at a disadvantage when you go out in the future. Seeing Lin Ray smile, Alienation's face showed satisfaction, because ever since she was born, Lin Ray had never praised her. Lin Ray's gaze once again turned to the already open crypt. This time, Lin Ray could easily feel that the dense spirit energy coming from the crypt was obviously much denser than before. Let's go. He didn't even turn his head as he spoke to the distant guard behind him. Then, he led the way into the cave. Strangely enough, Linley had thought that there would be many traps, hidden weapons, or formations in the Dripping Blood Cave. But on the way in, he didn't encounter a single one. He was able to reach the depths of the cave without any obstructions. Damn, this is too extravagant. When Lin Ray walked in and saw the things in the depths of the crypt, a shocked expression appeared on his face. He was simply stunned. Is this still something that an ordinary sect should have? Looking at everything in front of him, Lin Ray simply couldn't believe his eyes. Lin Ray was even very surprised. Why did the sect master of the Fengyun sect have so many resources and not give them to his disciples to improve? This place could be said to be splendid, with everything one wanted. If this was in his previous life, Lin Ray would have fainted from happiness. However, after more than a year of experience, these things in front of him no longer tempted Lin Ray, or it could be said that Lin Ray had already become indifferent to them. Wow! At this moment, Alienation, who had been following behind Linley, walked in as well. He saw what Linley was seeing, but there was no greed in his eyes. Instead, there was only shock and amazement. This was none other than a palace made of gold that could be used to eat. Not only that, there were many other things stored within the palace as well. As far as the eye could see, there were all kinds of things. For example, there were medicinal pills. There were medicine bottles piled up like a mountain. There were also countless instruments. Spiritual herbs were also packed in jade boxes. There were even more treasures for refining instruments. However, the most eye-catching thing was still the secret books of cultivation methods placed on the bookshelves. What's the matter? You were stuck here? Just these few things made you look like this. If outsiders see this, they will think that Master has mistreated you. Seeing his disciple's expression when he saw the things in the crypt, Lin Ray didn't know what to say. Although Lin Ray was very tempted by so many things, as a benevolent master, Lin Ray pretended to be calm and shouted at Alienation. Master, you were talking about me. Aren't you the same? I didn't even drool. Hearing his master's shameless face, Alienation didn't expose him. Instead, He pointed at Lin Ray's mouth and whispered. Seeing where alienation was pointing, Lin Ray quickly wiped the saliva off his face. His face immediately turned as red as his butt. His heart was filled with embarrassment. Ahem. Okay, let's not talk about this. Since we are here, how can we live up to our masterpiece tonight if we don't bring some things? Saying that, Lin Ray took out a spatial ring from his interspatial ring and threw it at alienation. He said, "Here, recognize this as your master. Then use the spatial ring to store everything here. Take as much as you can. When you can't store everything, come find me. I have a lot of spatial rings here." After saying that, Lin Ray didn't care about alienation anymore. He went into the spirit treasure alone and tried his best to store everything in the spatial ring as if it was none of his business. Is this still the master I know? Seeing Lin Ray's performance right now, it was very valuable. He was completely different from the person he had been in the past month. It could be said that he was a completely different person. Alienation didn't think too much at this time. He quickly refined the spatial ring Lin Ray gave him and threw himself into the looting operation. It wasn't too much, but it wasn't too little either. After spending an entire hour, Lin Ray and alienation used a total of 8 spatial rings to store everything in the cave. Looking at the spatial ring in his hand, Lin Ray had a satisfied expression on his face. Alienation helplessly shook his head at the side. All right, everything here is done. It's time for us to leave. I suspect that the reason why we were able to destroy the sect so quickly this time is because their elites have all gone out, including the experts with high cultivation. Therefore, we can't stay here for even a moment. After saying that, Lin Ray didn't wait for Alienation's reply. Lin Ray quickly walked out of the cave. Alienation was already used to this kind of thing, so he didn't say much and quickly followed after him. Night always passed by quickly. Those who were premeditated had already started to act. At this time, on the Western continent, the Sun Sect master was leading almost all of his combat power towards the Danzong sect. These people were all flying on their swords. It was obvious that this group of people's strength was really extraordinary. Sect master, what should we do? I don't know why the Sun Sect has gathered more than half of their sect's combat power. They're coming towards our sect aggressively. It's obvious that they don't have good intentions. At this time, in the conference hall of the Danzong sect, the second elder received the news from the outside. After reading it, his expression changed drastically. He couldn't care less about anything else and came here to report to Sect Master Dan Yunzi. He was so frightened that cold sweat had already dripped down his face. What? The Sun Sect has gathered their forces and is coming towards our sect? When Dan Yunzi heard the news, he stood up from his seat. His eyes were filled with shock, fear, and disbelief. That's right, senior brother sect leader. I just received the news too. So, I hurried over to see what we should do about this matter. After confirming the accuracy of the news, Dan Yunzi fell silent. At this time, his mind was in a mess. Was this because they were caught off guard? The Great Elder and the Supreme Elder had left. If someone were to challenge the sect now, there was no chance of winning at all. Not to mention, the Sun sect was as famous as the Danzong sect. Their combat power couldn't be underestimated. What should we do? The Great Elder and Supreme Elder by you are not here. If the Sun sect's people attack, how can we resist? Hearing Dan Yunzi muttering to himself, the second elder was completely dispirited. No, the Danzong sect can't be destroyed at my hands. We still have the young master. As long as the young master comes back, our sect will still have a chance to survive. Yes, young master. Dan Yunzi, who was still worried, suddenly thought of Lin Ray. In an instant, all the gloomy clouds disappeared. Second elder quickly passed down the order. Find some trustworthy disciples and then use the upper grade spirit stones to protect the sect. Don't let the Sun sect's people break through in a short period of time. As long as we can wait until the young master comes back, then. Speaking of this, Dan Yunzi's eyes couldn't help but reveal an excited look. The second elder, who was standing below, also smiled. This was completely different from the look of fear he had before. Yes, I'll do it right away. After saying that, the second elder took the order and walked out of the hall. Dan Yunzi, who was sitting on the Sect master's throne, quickly took out a jade pendant and said something into the jade pendant. The jade pendant then turned into a ray of light and flew towards the east. Its speed was extremely fast, and it disappeared in the blink of an eye. At this time, after the second elder told everyone about the Sun Sect's matter, everyone in the Danzong sect took action. Suddenly, the entire Danzong sect became busy. Lin Rei, who was in the east, didn't know what was happening in his own sect. At this time, after Lin Rei left the Fengyun sect, his heart was in a mess. In the end, he decided to go to the Lin family where he used to be. "Master, are we going to?" After coming out, Li Yuan had always wanted to ask, but he didn't have the right opportunity until now. Now that he was sitting down, he seized the opportunity to ask. "I used to live here. When I was young, my life was only a little better than that of a beggar. Apart from having a broken house, I didn't even know if I could eat for a day. I was a bastard son who only worried about eating every day. I was also a child with relatives and family, but they all lived in very good houses. It could be said that in that city, our family was already the #1 family. But in such a family, I lived worse than a dog. I had to suffer all kinds of abuse every day. In the end, the head of the Lin family, which is my father, forced me to lose my cultivation and drove me out of the house." Speaking of this, Lin Rei's eyes narrowed. This wasn't a deliberate act by Lin Rei. Perhaps it was because Lin Rei inherited the memory and body of the previous master. Although Lin Rei knew that he had nothing to do with the so-called Lin family, he still felt a little uncomfortable when it was mentioned. Hearing his master talk about his past, Li Yuan felt a wave of sadness in his heart. But when he thought about his master's current status, he felt a lot better. "A year ago, I was driven out of the house. At that time, I saw an ant who wasn't even a qi condensation cultivator. I only had the money I stole from the Lin family's geniuses. In the end, I had to bring along Lin Tian, who grew up with me. Later, I entered the forest mountain range and stayed there for a few months. Only then did I achieve what I have today." At this moment, the estranged man's eyes were wide open, and his mouth was also wide open. Apart from his shocked expression, Linley could guess that the estranged man was shocked that he was able to break through all the obstacles in a year and reach the middle Oris core stage. Then, this is the main point I want to say. As long as you can hover on the edge of death, you can break through, and you can even break through continuously. So, don't just look at my surface. I achieve what I have today by walking on the edge of life and death. Listening to Lin Rei's earnest teachings, Li Yuan understood the meaning of Lin Rei's words. For a moment, Li Yuan's admiration for Lin Rei increased. "Well, I'd better hurry up and leave now. After I'm done here, I probably won't have to come here again." After speaking, Linley mounted his flying sword and flew towards the Lin clan at high speed. His speed was so fast that it gave anyone a headache, and it also gave Alienation, who was hot on his heels, a headache. To a Jindan practitioner like Linley, this bit of distance was nothing at all. After a short while, Linley arrived at the Lin clan's residence. At this moment, Linley had landed in a place where no one was around. He put away his flying sword, then arrived at the Lin clan's main gate. His heart was filled with mixed feelings. "Phew, I'm back. I'll definitely get my revenge. I, Lin Rei, always finish what I started." He stood at the door and looked up at the Lin province that had been gone for a long time. After muttering a few words to himself, he lifted his foot and wanted to walk into the Lin family's gate. However, at this time, the guard at the gate stopped Lin Rei. Chapter 104. "Child, go play somewhere else. Is this a place where you can come to? Why don't you take a look at your own status?" Lin Rei's anger was completely ignited when he saw the two guards threatening him with their master's power. Bastards. Is my master someone you could talk about? You really don't want to live anymore." Just as Lin Rei was about to make a move, Feng Yuan's voice was heard. He sounded very angry. He directly threw 2 punches, and the 2 guards were immediately killed on the spot. "Damn, who is this? He dares to cause trouble in the Lin family. He really doesn't know what's good for him." I heard that the head of the Lin family has already entered the period of fasting. That's right. Judging from his appearance, he doesn't seem to be a local. Who cares? Whether he lives or dies has nothing to do with us. Some passers-by had gathered around when they saw Feng Yuan's attack. They chatted with each other, and the atmosphere was very lively. Lin Rei didn't care when he heard this. He couldn't kill all these passers-by, could he? All right, Feng Yuan. I'm here to settle accounts with their higher-ups. Knock these people out. Yes, master. Hearing his master's order, Feng Yuan didn't kill them. Let's go. After speaking, Lin Rei walked into the depths of the courtyard first. When he saw Feng Yuan, he was knocked unconscious by Feng Yuan before he could react. He then arrived at the meeting hall of the Lin family without any obstructions. It was also the place where he had left in the beginning. It's been a year. This time, I'm going to get back all the humiliation I suffered here. Lin Rei raised his head and looked at his surroundings. He looked at the place where he had lived for more than 10 years. He didn't have any nostalgia, only hatred and loathing. Go outside and shout for all the higher-ups of the Lin family to come here. Lin Rei, who had been lamenting for a long time, looked at Feng Yuan, who was standing there motionlessly, and ordered him. Yes, I'll go now. Hearing his master's orders, Shi Yuan immediately walked out and shouted towards the sky. Lin family's protectors, deacons, elders, and other higher-ups, I give you 2 minutes to come to the meeting room. If anyone dares to not come, then your Lin family can wait to be exterminated. Immediately, a distant voice swept through the surroundings. The entire Lin family, as well as the entire city, heard it. Who is he? How dare he speak to the Lin family like that? Does he not want to live anymore? At this moment, it wasn't just the people of the Lin family that were talking about this. Everyone in the city was talking about this after hearing the estranged words. Everyone said the same thing. Meanwhile, the Lin family was in an uproar. Others might not know, but the upper echelons of the Lin family knew very well that the cultivation of the person who shouted was definitely above theirs. Otherwise, why would their blood and chi surge uncontrollably when they shouted? Clan leader, is something wrong? After shouting for a long time, there was no response. The disciple braced himself and pushed open the door to enter. In the end, there was no one inside. At this moment, all the upper echelons of the Lin family immediately gathered in the meeting room after hearing Shi Yuan's voice. None of them dared to refuse because the person who shouted had a higher cultivation than them. Come in, all of you. Stand at the door. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was sitting in the meeting room, sensed the situation outside and spoke to the people outside. Not long after he spoke, a group of people walked in one after another. Lin Rei recognized the person in the lead. It was none other than his cheap father, who had once wanted to cripple his cultivation. Senior, dare I ask, my Lin family has never offended you. May I ask why you are here today? As the head of the Lin family, Lin Rei was naturally the first to speak. However, from what Lin Rei could see, Lin Ba was clearly no longer as domineering as he had been when he chased him away. My good father, have you forgotten about me so quickly? That really makes me bitterly disappointed. Looking at Lin Baishan's expression, Lin Rei didn't feel anything. However, when he said the words good father, he placed extra emphasis on them. At this moment, Lin Rei only knew that he had to take revenge. After all, he wasn't Lin Ba's real son. What? Lin Rei's words completely stunned everyone present. Their eyes were filled with disbelief and shock. You are Lin Rei? Lin Batian was shocked. When he heard Lin Rei call him father, he had a bad premonition. That's right. I am Lin Rei, the one who was crippled by you back then. Don't you think it's strange? Even now, I still remember the scene very clearly. You were so heartless back then, and the elder who broke my bones. His words carried a powerful aura that swept through the crowd. In an instant, apart from Lin Rei himself and a estranged man, everyone else couldn't stand the pressure and knelt on the ground. Some of the weaker ones even fell to the ground. How did you? Are you trying to ask me how I managed to reach such a high level of cultivation? Hearing Lin Baishan's words, Lin Li knew what he was going to say next. This is all because of you. The reason why I have such a strong cultivation is to come back for revenge. I want revenge. Those who bullied me in the past, I want revenge. I want revenge. I want revenge. Those who bullied me in the past, I want revenge. As he spoke, Linley raised his hand, and instantly, a powerful image of himself appeared in his palm, charging towards one of the members of the Lin clan. Haha, Enforcer, do you still remember me? You were the one who brought me to the Enforcer Hall. Bang! Before the man could reply, his head was crushed by Lin Ray's hand. The scene was horrifying and bloody. Most of the people present had never experienced such a scene before, and they all held their stomachs and vomited. Only Lin Batian was still standing straight and looking straight at Lin Ray. Lin Ray, it was my fault. It was all because of me. It has nothing to do with them. If you want to kill me, kill me. I only beg you to let them go. Lin Batian knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Lin Ray. Seeing this, Lin Ray's heart trembled for a moment. Why didn't you listen to my request when you said you wanted to destroy my cultivation? Now you're begging me. Don't you think it's a bit late? After speaking, yet another person was pulled over by Linley. This person was the elder who had interrogated him, as well as the one who had broken his fingers. You're the elder who broke my finger back then. I remember that when I left, I said that I would definitely come back to take revenge on you. Now, I've specially come back from the south to take revenge on you. After saying that, Lin Ray's hand tightened and a kacha sound was heard. The elder's body went limp and fell to the ground. Blood flowed out of his 7 orifices, and there were some white substances mixed in. His eyes were wide open, and he couldn't believe that the child he had injured could grow to such a level in just a year. Looking at the lifeless body lying on the ground, Linley's eyes didn't show any emotion at all, except for when the old man had died. There was a slight smile on his face, but everything else was the same as before. His eyes were cold and emotionless. How could you do this? No matter what, they are your elders. How could you kill them? Lin Batian, who was still kneeling on the ground, couldn't accept the fact that his elder had died in front of him. More importantly, his elder had died in his own hands. Son, you still have the face to talk to me about, son. When I left, I already made it very clear that I am no longer your son, and I have nothing to do with the Lin family. Have you forgotten? Lin Batian's face was filled with awkwardness as he choked back his words. I didn't think that there would be such a powerful person here. Just as Lin Ray and Lin Batian were arguing, Lin Ray suddenly noticed 2 cultivators who were much stronger than him flying towards him. Under Lin Ray's consciousness, the 2 cultivators were very fast. In a few seconds, they landed in the Lin family's meeting hall. The 2 cultivators kept their flying swords and pushed through the crowd. They immediately saw Linley, who was seated at the head of the table. Instantly, the 2 of them became extremely excited. They immediately rushed forward and knelt on the ground as they spoke excitedly. Greetings, young master. Where have you been for the past few months? We had a hard time looking for you. 2 people had suddenly barged into Linley's room and were even kneeling on the ground to worship Linley. Instantly, the brains of everyone in the Lin clan short-circuited. When Linley, who was seated at the head of the table, saw the 2 of them, a rare smile appeared on his face. So it's by you and Grand Elder. What are you doing here? I don't think I told you that I was born here. Seeing the 2 of them arrive, Linley felt very puzzled. How did the 2 of them know that he was here? Sigh, young master. After looking for you in the Cloud Pagoda, there was no trace of you. We only found out after asking Lin Tion. We were ordered by the Sect master to look for you and tell you important news. Seeing how excited the 2 of them were, Linley hurriedly used his power to pull them up from the ground. All right, I'll catch up with you after I'm done with these people. Stand to the side and watch. Hearing Linley's order, White Feather and White Feather obediently stood to the side, not saying anything else. Lin Batian, it was all because of you. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been able to endure their anger for more than 10 years. If it wasn't for you, my mother wouldn't have died. As he spoke, Linley dragged Lin Batian in front of him and grabbed him by the neck. If Linley exerted even the slightest bit of strength, Lin Batian would die instantly. Don't, little brother, don't kill father. Just as Lin Ray was about to end everything here, a voice rang out. Lin Ray knew from the voice that this was the cheap big brother who called out to him before he left. Oh, why can't I kill him? Also, don't call me little brother. I've never acknowledged you as my big brother. Upon hearing Linley's words, the expression on the youth's face changed. His body trembled slightly, and tears welled up in his eyes. All right, Lin Ray, I beg you, don't call him father. No matter what he did wrong, he is still your father. If you kill him like this, you will suffer retribution. As he spoke, the tears in the youth's eyes began to flow uncontrollably. The tear-stained youth returned to Linley's side. Looking at his father in Linley's hands, the youth's heart ached even more. Fine. I promise you I won't kill Lin Batian. But even if I don't kill him, I will cripple his cultivation. From now on, the Lin family will have nothing to do with me. I will never appear in the Lin family again. As he spoke, Lin Ray's hand flew towards Lin Batian's abdomen. But how could Lin Batian allow Lin Ray to cripple his cultivation so easily? When Lin Ray released him, Lin Batian tried to escape. Do you think you can escape from me with that little cultivation of yours? What a joke. As he spoke, Linley formed a hand seal and sent it towards Lin Batian. Instantly, Lin Batian, who had been sent tumbling backwards, froze in place. Of course, only his eyes and mouth were able to speak and blink like a normal person. You can't do this. You can't do this. Lin Batian struggled when he saw that his body couldn't move. But in the end, it was useless. Now be a good boy and let me do whatever I want of you. As he spoke, Lin Ray took a step forward and appeared in front of Lin Batian. In an instant, his hand shot towards Lin Batian's dantian at a speed no one could see clearly. Immediately, a terrifying amount of spiritual energy rushed out of Lin Batian's body and dissipated in the air. Lin Batian spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. His face paled and his aura weakened. Seeing Lin Batian in this state, the young man's heart ached so much that he couldn't breathe. But at that moment, a ray of light rushed in from outside and came to Bayu's side. Yes, this is the Sect's teleportation item. It can only be used when the Sect is on the brink of death. Could it be that the Sect is in danger? Bayu took the jade pendant and injected some spiritual energy into it. Suddenly, Dan Yunzi's voice appeared in the hall. Supreme Elder, Sun Zong took advantage of the fact that the Sect was empty and brought the entire Sect's strength to challenge the Sect. I ordered the other elders to activate the Sect's protective formation, but it can only last for 3 days at most. I hope you can come back within 3 days. If you can find the young master, that would be even better. If the young master is here, then the Sect can be saved. I hope you can come back as soon as possible. The lives of the entire Sect are all in your hands. At that moment, Lin Ray and Bayu looked at each other and didn't say anything. Lin Ray was very anxious. The Danzong Sect was a great help for him to establish the Xuanzong Sect in the future. If the Danzong Sect was occupied, then it would be even more difficult to establish the Xuanzong Sect in the future. After finding this place, Lin Ray quickly said to everyone, Bayu, let's go quickly. If Sun Zong breaks the Sect's protective formation, then the lives of Dan Yunzi and the entire Sect. Yes, I have the same idea. Then let's not delay any longer. Let's go. Then, Lin Ray didn't hesitate and left the Lin family's heavy responsibility. He took a strange to the courtyard. Little Golden Dragon, I have a very urgent matter right now. I'll have to trouble you to bring us back to the Western region. As he spoke, Linley released the little golden dragon from within the cloud pagoda. Instantly, a draconic roar could be heard. Chapter 105. Roar. Almost all of the cultivators present, including those above the gold core realm, were knocked unconscious by the dragon's roar. The people who were still standing looked at the divine beast in front of them with a dumbfounded expression. The Grand Elder and High Elder of the Dan Sect were a bit better. After all, they had seen a black dragon before. But now, another one had appeared. No matter how good their endurance was, they would be scared to death by Linley's actions. This golden dragon seems to have come from Lin Rei's body. At this time, the Lin family regained their senses. They looked at the golden dragon in front of them, and then at Lin Rei. In an instant, they were filled with regret. They regretted that they had bullied Lin Rei because of his status. They regretted that they had chased Lin Rei out of the Lin family. If it weren't for those things, this kind of talent would be a part of the Lin family right now. Sigh. Lin Batian, who had been stunned by Lin Rei, immediately regretted that he hadn't fulfilled his responsibilities as a father. He regretted that he had chased his son out of the Lin family. But he also knew that there was no medicine for regret in this world. What could he do now that things had come to this? All right, don't be in a daze. The Sect's matters cannot be delayed. Let's hurry up and go. With that, Lin Rei took the lead and jumped onto the dragon's head. The Grand Elder and the others also jumped onto the dragon's back. Roar! Suddenly, there was a roar of anger. Aside from Lin Rei, everyone standing on the dragon's back turned pale and trembled uncontrollably. Looking at them, it seemed like they wanted to jump off immediately. Haha, aren't you scared? In any case, you are the Grand Elder and Grand Elder of the Sect. You're not as brave as my disciple. As he spoke, Linley turned his gaze towards Alienated. But as soon as he did, Linley felt utterly humiliated. Alienated had been so frightened that he was sprawled across the draconic back, his hands clutching his head as his entire body trembled. Ha ha ha! Suddenly, this became a conversation between Baiyu and the Grand Elder when they were bored. Fuck, can't you save some face for me? In any case, I am the person in charge of Sect. How can you be so cowardly? After speaking, he saw that Estrange still didn't get up. Linley didn't say anything else. But in his heart, he secretly swore that after returning to the school, he would definitely make Estranged undergo hellish training. Otherwise, when he went out, he would lose face. All right, sit tight. Linley patted the little golden dragon's head as he spoke, and the little golden dragon immediately transformed into a streak of golden light that flew toward the west. It was so fast that the passers-by could only see a streak of light passing by, but they couldn't see what it was at all. Of course, the only exceptions were some of the more powerful cultivators, such as body integration stage beings. As for the Lin family, after Lin Rei left, everyone relaxed. However, the fear in their hearts didn't lessen at all because of Lin Rei's disappearance. Father, how are you? At this moment, the first young master of the Lin family saw that Linley and the rest had left and immediately went to Lin Baishan's side to support him, his face full of heartache. Sai, it's over, it's all over. I only have myself to blame for this. Forget it, since I have lost my cultivation, you can take over as the next head of the family. That way, I can retire. Looking at his son, Lin Baishan's face revealed a satisfied smile. However, behind that smile, there was a trace of despair. He pulled the young man to the center of the Lin family and solemnly said to the upper echelons of the family, "From today onwards, I, Lin Batian, will pass the position of head of the family to my eldest son. From today onwards, I will no longer interfere with the affairs of the Lin family. This will be effective from today onwards." Saying this, Lin Batian took out a golden token from his waist and handed it to the young man. In an instant, the young man took the token with a serious expression and nodded to Lin Batian. Because of Lin Rei's appearance, the only person in the Lin family who had reached the Enidia realm, Lin Batian, was crippled of his cultivation. Because of this, the morale of the Lin family fell. At this time in the West, a huge incident had happened. The moment it happened, the news spread across the entire West mainland. The Sun Sect had begun a destructive attack on the Danzong Sect. However, because the Danzong Sect had been one of the top sects for a long time, the Patriarch of the Danzong Sect had invited a very powerful array master to set up a spirit-locking array. It was said that this array could be used for both offense and defense. Most importantly, it could absorb spiritual energy from the outside world and increase the cultivation speed of the Danzong Sect. However, the biggest drawback of this array was that it required a large amount of spiritual stones to activate. At this time, in the main hall of the Danzong Sect, all the elders were like ants on a hot pan. They kept pacing back and forth with anxious expressions on their faces. It was easy to see that they were in a bad mood. Dan Yunzi, who was sitting at the head of the table, was in a better state. After all, he was the sect master of the Danzong sect. If even he was panicking, then the Danzong sect would really be finished. All right. Aren't you all tired? Even if you aren't, I am. What's the use of being anxious? What's going to come will come, and what's not going to come will not come even if you want it. So be quiet. Maybe in the next few days, the great elder will bring the young master back to support us. This was the truth. Everyone in the main hall knew very well that Dan Yunzi was just saying this to comfort himself. However, people always had to have faith. If they didn't have faith, then it was really, all right, you all can go. Pay attention to the movements of the array. If there are any abnormal changes, immediately inform me. Understand? Yes, we understand. Senior brother sect master, we will take our leave first. Hearing Dan Yunzi's words, all the elders present bowed to Dan Yunzi one by one, then walked out and went to guard the formation. Sigh, young master, you must come back quickly. The survival of the sect depends on you. At this moment, after watching his junior brothers leave, Dan Yunzi stood up and looked into the distance with a glimmer of hope in his eyes as he muttered to himself. Outside the Danzong sect, there were some people who were madly smashing the Danzong sect with the weapons in their hands. However, because of the Great Sect Protection Array, this group of people could not break it no matter how much strength they used. Sect Master, the Great Sect Protection Array of the Pill Sect, was created by a top-notch formation master that we hired from the Central Continent back then. It won't be easy to break the formation. We'll need at least 2 to 3 more days. In Sun Sect's encampment, an elder returned to the encampment after observing the Danzong Sect's Great Sect Protection Array and reported to Sun Sect's Sect Master. When Sun Sect's Sect Master heard that elder's words, he immediately jumped up anxiously and said angrily, I don't care about their Great Sect Protection Array. I only know that I have to break it as soon as possible. What if the Danzong Sect's Great Elder and Supreme Elder come during this period of time? After saying that, all the elders present fell silent for a moment because what Sun Sect's Sect Master said was exactly what they were worried about. It was not that their sect could not defeat the Danzong sect, but it would not be easy for their sect to suffer heavy losses. All right, you guys hurry up and think of a way. I don't care what method you use. You have to do it within 1 day. No, I'll give you 2 days. If you can't complete the task I gave you in 2 days, then I'll really... At this point, Sun Sect's Sect Master did not continue because what he was going to say next might destroy the beneficial relationship between them. Yes. Sect Master, I understand. Please give me a little more time. I'll definitely do it well. After saying that, the elder left to think of a way. As for the elders and sect masters who stayed in the encampment, they all looked worried as they tried to think of a way. The elder who came out to think of a way immediately left the encampment and went to a secluded place. He left a note and left. Not long after Sun Sect's elder left, a person wearing the Danzong Sect's uniform came and took the note left behind by the elder. On the note, it said, hurry up and think of a way to break the Great Sect Protection Array. Sun Sect will definitely fulfill our promise to you after you succeed. Furthermore, we will only give you more, not less. This simple sentence made Sun Sect's disciple look troubled. The struggle in his eyes was very obvious. However, people's hearts were often tempted by benefits. In the end, the disciple was conquered by the benefits on the note. A flame appeared in the young man's palm. The moment the note came into contact with the flame, it turned into ashes. Haha, it doesn't matter if the Danzong sect is gone. Anyway, there's so many sects in the world. One more won't make a difference, the young man muttered to himself and walked into the distance. What the Danzong sect didn't know was that their own sect had been unintentionally bought by their own disciples. At the moment, they were still happily counting the money they had earned from selling their own sect. After doing all this, the elder who had left the note returned to the meeting hall of Sun Sect's encampment. When he arrived at the meeting hall and felt the stifling mood in the hall, the elder immediately explained the method to break the array formation. All right, Sect Master, cheer up. I've already solved the problem. Just wait patiently. In a day or two, the Danzong Sect's Great Sect Protection Array will automatically dissipate. An incomparably shocking news came. Immediately, everyone in the hall became excited. Looking at everyone's excited appearance, the elder's heart was filled with pride. Not bad. Wang Jinghua, you've done very well. This time, I'll definitely give you the best credit. Time passed very quickly after this incident. Some people felt that time passed very slowly, while others felt that many years had passed. 2 days passed quietly just like that. However, the Danzong Sect's Great Sect Protection Array was still exactly the same as before. There were no changes at all. Sun Sect's Sect Master, who was furious, immediately brought Wang Jinghua into the meeting hall. Wang Jinghua, how should you be punished? 2 days have already passed. Why is the Danzong Sect's Great Sect Protection Array still as indestructible as it was a few days ago? You have to give me an explanation. Sun Sect's Sect Master was furious as he looked at Wang Jinghua. He really wanted to kill Wang Jinghua right there and then, but when he thought about how he needed a confidant, he dismissed this thought. Sect Master, please believe me. If I say that I can break the Danzong Sect's Great Sect Protection Array, then I can definitely report. Right when Wang Jinghua was about to continue, a disciple walked in with an excited expression on his face. What is it? Can't you see that this seat is talking with Elder Wang? How did you learn the rules of the sect? When he saw that disciple, Sun Sect's Sect Master, who was about to explode, immediately exploded with anger the moment that disciple walked in. Sect Master, this disciple didn't come here on purpose. It's second elder who sent me here to inform Sect Master that the Danzong Sect's Great Sect Protection Array has been broken. We will have to wait for Sect Master's arrival to personally command us. That disciple did not even raise his head. His heart was filled with panic, and his body was trembling non-stop as he knelt on the ground and reported to Sun Sect's Sect Master. For a moment, Sun Sect's Sect Master was unable to react. He was stunned. You're saying that the Danzong Sect's Great Sect Protection Array has been broken? It was not that Sun Sect's Sect Master did not believe Wang Jinghua's words. Rather, this was something that could not be determined by imagination. Yes, Sect Master. Second Elder sent me here to inform you personally. If you don't believe me, you can go and ask Second Elder. After obtaining confirmation, Sun Sect's Sect Master looked at that disciple and Wang Jinghua. However, the anger from before was no longer present, especially when he looked at Wang Jinghua. There was a trace of guilt and awkwardness in his eyes. Elder Wang, let's go. Follow this seat to witness the defeat of the Danzong Sect. After saying that, Sun Sect's Sect Master stepped forward and grabbed Wang Jinghua's hand. Then, they walked toward the entrance of the Danzong Sect. At the same time that the Great Sect Protection Array was broken, the disciples of the two sects had already started fighting. The upper echelons of the Danzong Sect were puzzled. Their Great Sect Protection Array was considerably powerful. Furthermore, they had estimated that the Great Sect Protection Array would last for 3 to 4 days. However, only 2 days had passed. What's going on? Why is the Great Sect Protection Array activated now? It hasn't even been activated yet. Why is this happening? At this moment, on a mountain peak not far away from the Danzong Sect, Dan Yunzi roared furiously at the various elders. Immediately, the various elders were at a loss for words. The reason for that was because they had the same thoughts as Dan Yunzi. However, this was the reality. The Great Sect Protection Array had been broken, and the people from the Sun Sect had already rushed in. The Danzong Sect was about to face the danger of being exterminated. Sect Master, now is not the time to talk about this. The most important thing right now is to quickly go out and fight. You also know that our Danzong Sect is, after all, only an alchemy sect. We are incomparable to the battle power of the Sun Sect. If all of our disciples are killed, what will happen to the Danzong Sect in the future? At this moment, a new elder standing at the back of the group spoke. Immediately, everyone came to a sudden realization. They hurriedly looked at the elder who spoke with gratitude and bowed deeply. Chapter 106. That's right. The most important thing now is to protect the Sect's disciples. We must defend the Sect with our lives. We must protect the Sect, even if we have to shed our last drop of blood. We can't let you all kneel in the hands of our generation. After saying that, all the elders and disciples raised the weapons in their hands and rushed towards the Sect. In order to protect the dignity of their Sect, for their relatives and children, and for the home that they lived in here, everyone present showed an expression of vowing to fight to the death. Haha, you fools. Don't you feel vexed to follow a Sect that doesn't have the ability to protect you? Look at us. There are so many experts in our Sect. Do you think the Danzong Sect has any chance of surviving? As the saying goes, it's better to kill the heart than to kill the heart. After hearing Sun Zong's words, some of the Danzong Sect disciples who were fighting to the death stopped what they were doing one after another. Their eyes were filled with hesitation and struggle. You, Sun Zong, our Danzong Sect has no enmity with you in the past. Why are you treating our Sect like this? At this moment, Dan Yunzi, who was standing at the side, was furious when he saw the actions of his Sect's disciples. At the same time, his eyes were filled with shame towards those disciples who had stopped. He had never thought that he would get such an outcome in exchange for painstakingly grooming them. You cowardly, ungrateful beasts. Sect Master has always treated us well. Let's talk about you, Zhuzi. You were originally a child who was often bullied by others. Moreover, your parents were sick all year round. If it wasn't for Sect Master, you wouldn't be where you are now. If it wasn't for Sect Master, your parents would probably have died long ago. I didn't expect that in front of the enemy today, you would actually hesitate whether to give up the Sect or not. Do you know how the word shame is written? Do you know how to write the word shame? At this moment, a disciple who was standing at the back walked out and pointed at a middle-aged man in front of him. He roared and cursed. His voice was loud and clear. Every word he said directly hit the hearts of those disciples who were hesitating. Suddenly, everything about Dan Yunzi and the Sect in the past appeared in their minds. The scene calmed down. After everyone heard the man's words, some of the disciples who had done something wrong all had ashamed expressions on their faces. You're right. You're right. All of this is my fault. Sect Master has treated me well. I can't do this. If it weren't for Sect Master, I wouldn't be where I am now, let alone standing here hesitating about which camp to join. With that, the middle-aged man named Zhuzi hurriedly returned to the Danzong Sect's Jinxing. With a guilty expression, he came before Dan Yunzi and said, Sect Master, it was my fault just now. Please don't convict me now. If I can defeat the enemy and survive, it won't be too late to convict me then. His voice was firm and firm. Dan Yunzi's heart was filled with joy. How could he blame him? All right, Zhuzi, let's talk about it after this matter is over. After saying that, Dan Yunzi's gaze shifted from Zhuzi to the Sun Sect's camp. Although most of the people had returned to their own camp, there were still some people who had separated from the Danzong Sect and went to the opposite camp. As the Sect Master of the Danzong Sect, not to mention how sad he was, the most important thing was that Dan Yunzi felt that what he had done to them all these years was not worth it. That was all. After all, everyone had the right to be angry. All right, from today onwards, I won't blame those who have separated from the Danzong Sect. However, since you have chosen the opposite side, then there's no need to care about the yous of the past on the battlefield. Kill, kill, kill. While Dan Yunzi was speaking, his eyes couldn't help but moisten. No one noticed this. After sorting out his emotions, Dan Yunzi looked in the direction of the Sun Sect. He raised the sword in his hand and rushed towards the Sun Sect with a murderous aura. The battle had begun once again. The situation was out of control. The Sect Masters of the two sects had already engaged in a battle. As for the Supreme Elder of the Danzong Sect, he was entangled by a person of similar strength and couldn't get away. As for the elders of the two sects, they were all engaged in their own battles. The scene was extremely chaotic. Humph, Dan Yunzi, look around. Your disciples are almost dead now. Do you still want to put up a useless resistance? Do you know that your disciples will be exhausted if you continue like this? Why don't you ask them to stop fighting and join me? This way, not only can I provide them with a good cultivation environment, but I can also help them avoid this unnecessary war. What do you think? At this time, the sect master of the Sun sect, who had already fought for hundreds of rounds, discussed with Dan Yunzi. Seeing that the casualties of the Danzong sect's disciples were getting more and more serious, his tone began to soften. If you wish. But do you think that I will let you succeed? Moreover, it's not up to me to decide. The sect is their home. If someone wants to destroy your home, what will you do? You. Fine. Since you don't know what's good for you, then don't blame me. After saying that, the sect master of the Sun sect, who was originally fighting with Dan Yunzi, suddenly withdrew from the battle and retreated. Seeing this scene, Dan Yunzi was puzzled. He didn't know what the sect master of the Sun sect was planning to do. After retreating, the sect master of the Sun sect came to the side of an old man who had been watching for a long time and said, "Old ancestor, hurry up and kill them. Originally, I wanted to take Dan Yunzi as my disciple. But now, it seems that it's impossible. If we delay, there might be a change in the situation. Just in case." When the old man heard the sect master of the Sun sect's words, he thought for a while and felt that it was indeed reasonable. So, he nodded and agreed. Fine. Since you are the current sect master of the Sun sect, I presume that what you are doing is for the future development of the sect. In that case, I will help you this time. After saying that, a lotus appeared under the old man's feet. With a step, he disappeared from where he was standing. When Dan Yunzi, who was standing at the entrance of the Danzong sect, saw this scene, his eyes widened. His face was filled with disbelief and panic. It was as if he had seen something that he didn't dare to believe. How is this possible? That just now seemed to be the teleportation technique of the fusion technique. When did the Sun sect have such a powerful existence? Although he was surprised, he still had to resist. However, at this moment, Dan Yunzi was filled with a sense of powerlessness. He originally thought that the Sun sect only had this little bit of combat power. Even if they couldn't fight to a draw, at least they wouldn't lose too badly. But now, the Sun sect had a cultivator whose cultivation was probably above the fusion stage. This had already disrupted his original plan. May I ask who Senior is? Are you a member of the Sun sect? Seeing that the old man suddenly appeared and asked for money, the powerless Dan Yunzi looked at him and asked. His tone was filled with helplessness. That's right. I am a junior brother of the founder of the Sun sect. Originally, I had been in seclusion. But after coming out of seclusion, I found out that my senior brother had been dead for many years. This lowly sect master found me and told me his plan. So I came here. Hearing the old man's words, Dan Yunzi finally understood. So, this old man was an old ancestor-level existence. Originally, Dan Yunzi was still thinking that he was lucky to lose this old man. But now, it seemed that he didn't have any chance at all. Senior, I know that I can't escape today, no matter what I say. But I just want to ask you to let the people of my sect go. I am willing to die in their place. While speaking, Dan Yunzi knelt in front of the old man and begged sincerely. Even though Dan Yunzi didn't have any hope for the old ancestor-level existence in front of him. I'm sorry. As the saying goes, if you don't remove the roots when cutting the weeds, they will grow again when the spring breeze blows. This is a very clear truth. If I don't kill them all, what if a member of the Danzong sect wants to kill the disciples of my Sun sect? So I'm sorry. After finishing his words, the old man quickly flashed towards the disciples of the Danzong sect. In an instant, he arrived in front of the disciples of the Danzong sect and slashed their throats with his sword. Those disciples of the Danzong sect didn't even understand how they died. They didn't even feel any pain as they were already lying on the cold ground. Oh, no. When Dan Yunzi saw this scene, he quickly released all of his cultivation and began to fight back against the old man. However, the old man seemed to be deliberately not killing him. When he saw Dan Yunzi coming, he used his teleportation skill to dodge. However, in the next moment, dozens of disciples would be killed. Just like this, Dan Yunzi was chased and chased. In the end, Dan Yunzi collapsed. He just watched the disciples he had painstakingly cultivated being killed one by one in front of him. This feeling was simply heart-wrenching. Hee hee. You can't take it anymore? This is nothing. In any case, you are also a cultivator of the upper stage of the nascent soul realm. The old man didn't listen and continued to kill. At this time, Dan Yunzi didn't have the slightest resistance. He knelt on the ground as if he had lost his soul. He looked at all of this with a face full of tears, looking at the disciples in front of him who were once happy and chatting with him. Dan Yunzi was on the verge of collapse. If he wasn't careful, he would fall into the invincible abyss and be smashed to pieces. No, don't kill me. I'm willing to join the Sun Sect. I beg, Senior, please don't kill us. At this time, when the old man was about to kill them, these disciples knelt on the ground in fear. They kowtowed while begging. The old man had already picked up the butcher's knife and looked at them. At least you know what's good for you. However, I hope you remember that now that you have joined the Sun Sect, you must show some sincerity. When the disciples who were kneeling on the ground saw that they could be saved, they quickly nodded and said, Yes, Senior. Please say it. What do you want us to do? We will definitely do it, even if we have to die 1,000 times. Good. In that case, go and kill them. As long as you kill them, you will truly become a disciple of the Sun Sect. As soon as the old man said this, the disciples who were begging for mercy were stunned on the spot. Their faces stiffened and no longer had the same look as before. What's wrong? You're already stumped by such a small matter? If that's the case, how are you qualified to become a disciple of the Sun Sect? After saying that, the old man's face became angry. The sword in his hand pierced towards the disciples who were kneeling on the ground and begging for mercy. In the blink of an eye, just as the old man's sword was about to pierce through them, the disciples stood up and walked towards the designated person with the sword in their hand. Step by step, they arrived in front of their fellow disciples. The disciple who was holding the long sword had a look of struggle on his face. However, these fellow disciples were not as important as his own life. Several of them simultaneously raised the long sword in their hands and stabbed towards the disciple's chest. The sword pierced through the disciple's chest without the slightest pause. I'm sorry, Junior. I didn't do it on purpose. I still have my mother, my wife, and my children. Therefore, I can't die here. Seeing this scene, the old man felt incomparably carefree. He looked at Dan Yunzi, who was kneeling on the ground with tears streaming down his face. At this moment, his heart was filled with regret. He regretted that he didn't control this disciple when he accepted him as a disciple. How could there be such a traitor in the sect? When the remaining disciples of the Danzong sect saw this scene, some of the originally strong-willed disciples also began to beg for mercy. In the end, out of the 700 disciples who survived, more than 400 betrayed the sect. The remaining ones were some elders and chief disciples of the sect master. Seeing this scene, Dan Yunzi's heart was like dead ashes. He no longer had any thoughts of surviving. How is it, Dan Yunzi? What do you want to say now? Do you feel that your entire life is a failure? You even betrayed the disciple you nurtured with all your heart. Do you feel regret in your heart? Sect master, we were all personally cultivated by you. Without the sect, we wouldn't be where we are now. We're suited to live and die with the sect. When the few remaining disciples saw Dan Yunzi's appearance, they quickly gathered around him. They looked at Dan Yunzi with eyes full of determination. All right. In that case, all of you can die. From today onwards, there will no longer be a Danzong sect in the Xiantian continent. As he spoke, he waved his hand, and the disciples of the Sun sect behind him charged forward. However, miracles often happen. Right at this moment, a lazy voice was heard. The laziness was filled with domineering dominance, and there was no room for doubt in his tone. Who said that there will no longer be a Danzong sect in the Xiantian continent from now on? How dare you touch my people so easily? How dare you? Back then, I remember that I even broke the eggs of the Sun sect master's son. I wonder if he's recovered now. This sentence made Dan Yunzi, who originally had no will to live, pull himself together again. His eyes were filled with joy as he looked at the direction of the voice. Young master, I've finally waited for you. Chapter 107. Who are you? How dare you speak so arrogantly in front of me? Upon hearing Linley's voice, Watchman, who had been prepared to kill Linley, turned his head to look in Linley's direction. His eyes were filled with anger as he asked Linley, a person who is about to die dares to speak to me like this? Has this world gone mad? Linley's serious words sounded like mockery in the hearts of others. When the old man heard this, he was instantly enraged. He raised the sword in his hand and pointed it at Linley. Brat, I don't know why they call you young master, but since you have a relationship with the Danzong sect, you are destined to die here today. At this time, Lin Ray acted as if he didn't hear the old man's words. He turned his head and looked at the traitors. His eyes were filled with cold, killing intent. It turned out that when the old man was about to kill, Lin Ray had already arrived and called the Black Dragon over. As for the little golden dragon, Lin Ray had already taken it into the Cloud Pagoda. You all have already made your choice. I can't blame you, but since you chose to oppose me, Lin Ray, then don't blame me. Looking at these traitors, Lin Ray wanted nothing more than to kill them. However, after thinking about the nascent soul cultivators and the old man, Lin Ray restrained himself. Who are you? How dare you talk to us like this? Aren't you just an intermediate golden core cultivator? Do you think you are at the nascent soul stage or higher? Do you think you can still leave today? With the Sun Sect's ancestor here, with a thud sound, the man who had cursed at Linley collapsed to the ground, his hands clutching his neck. Blood was pouring out from his neck. Seeing this, everyone present was stunned. Lin Ray coldly snorted. He didn't even look at the corpse on the ground. His cold eyes swept across the crowd, causing them to shiver. Impudent! You actually dare to kill the disciples who came to seek refuge with us in front of me. I see that you truly do not wish to live anymore. At this time, a mid-nascent soul stage old man saw that the disciple who just came to join them was killed. In order to play a good role, he rushed towards Lin Ray with a cold light in his hand. There are quite a lot of people who aren't afraid of death. Since that's the case, I won't refuse anyone. Black Dragon, I'll leave it to you. The moment Lin Ray finished speaking, he went to the place where Dan Yunzi was. He squatted down and treated Dan Yunzi's injuries. As for Black Dragon, after hearing Lin Ray's command, his body turned into a ray of black light and rushed towards the old man who rushed over. Pong! With one move, the old man who had rushed over disappeared without a trace. What was left was a pool of blood and some mincemeat. You actually... When Sun Zong saw the development of the situation, the smile on everyone's face instantly disappeared without a trace. At this moment, whether it was Sun Zong or the disciples who betrayed the Danzong sect, they all looked at the black-clothed man standing on the pool of blood with a frightened expression on their faces. A stifling feeling rose from their bodies. As for old ancestor Sun Zong, who was standing in the air and observing everything, his face turned serious. He sighed in his heart. Sigh. Looks like we're in trouble this time. I didn't think that the Danzong sect would have such a strong background. They were actually able to invite a cultivator of this level. Even I can't guarantee my own death against a mid-nascent soul stage cultivator, let alone this kind of minced meat. At this moment, he felt regret in his heart. He regretted following the words of the current sect leader and attacking the Danzong sect. Say, Senior, I'm really sorry. I didn't know that the Danzong sect was under Senior's care. I'll pay for all the losses as long as Senior doesn't kill me. At this moment, the people in the air were terrified. They looked at Hei Long and hurriedly went to him and begged for his forgiveness. When they saw this scene, they were scared silly. This was especially true for old ancestor Sun Zong and the disciples who betrayed the Danzong sect. At this moment, they even had thoughts of suicide. Hei Long didn't even look at them. Instead, he turned his gaze to Lin Ray, who was currently fighting with Dan Yunzi. I can't make the decision on this matter. If there's anything you need, go find him. If he says he'll let you go, then I won't say anything, but I won't let you go. Hei Long, this matter is not negotiable. I said that since you've made a choice, then you must pay for your choice. Oh, right, there's one more thing. Those who offend my sect will be killed without mercy. Originally, When the old man heard Hei Long's words, a trace of hope appeared in his heart. However, when the old man was about to go find Lin Rei to plead for mercy, Lin Rei's voice was heard. His voice was filled with killing intent. It was obvious that this matter was unavoidable. And I understand. Hei Long nodded in agreement after hearing Lin Rei's words. The old man, standing in front of Hei Long, was shocked. There was a trace of panic in his shock. The betrayers and old ancestor Sun Zong were even more terrified. This was especially true for old ancestor Sun Zong. Previously, he had said that he would destroy the Danzong sect. Now, he had brought irreparable destruction to his own sect. No, let's talk about it. I'll give you whatever you want. As long as you let me go, I'll give you whatever I have. At this moment, when Hei Long made his move, the old man completely panicked. He originally thought that he could break through to the final level, but he did not expect that he would fall here today. His eyes were filled with unwillingness. But what was the use? Poof! A sword appeared in Hei Long's hand out of nowhere. The sword was inlaid with black scales. At the same time, it faintly emitted a black light. It was very strange. Hei Long quickly and straightforwardly arrived in front of the old man and killed him instantly. At this moment, Lin Rei was observing the situation. He bought Hei Long to kill the old man. After observing, Lin Rei discovered that the old man's blood had been absorbed by Hei Long's sword. Now, only a withered skin was left. Lin Rei's mouth went cold. His eyes were filled with shock. He had never seen a weapon like this, let alone a weapon that could absorb the blood of its victim. This matter really broke the knowledge that Lin Rei had learned when he came to the profound sky continent. This won't do. When I have time, I must ask Hei Long the trick to that face of his. Looking at the black sword, Lin Rei's eyes were filled with reluctance. Ding dong, congratulations, host. Your subordinate has killed an upper body integration stage cultivator. However, the reward can only be ordinary because you didn't personally kill him. The reward is 20 million spirit herbs, 2 fragments of the invincible divine spear. Gather 10 fragments to upgrade at once, and 1 9 heavens mysterious art. The 9 heavens mysterious art is a supreme mantra in the God realm. Of course, it has never appeared in the God realm. It can be said to be an unopened mantra. This mantra can only be cultivated by people with outstanding talent. Otherwise, it will bring irreparable harm to the cultivator. Originally, Lin Rei was admiring the weapon in Hei Long's hand when the system notification rang out. When he heard the generous rewards, Lin Rei's eyes lit up. But it was quickly concealed by Lin Rei. No one noticed it. I didn't think that I would be able to get a reward from those people who ate pills and killed people. Although it's only a portion, not bad. It seems I'll have to cultivate more people like this in the future. Young master, thank you for saving my life. If it wasn't for you, this subordinate would have already died. Lin Rei, who was happy about the reward, came back to his senses when he heard Dan Yunzi's voice. Not bad. You were willing to sacrifice your life to protect the sect. This is what I admire the most about you. I heard everything you said just now, so you're not bad. Hearing Lin Rei's words, Dan Yunzi looked at Lin Rei with a confused expression. He wanted to ask what he meant by, I heard everything you said. Perhaps you don't understand what I'm saying. When you first started fighting, I was already here. What? Young master, you're saying you were already here when we first started fighting? Then why? Alas, it's not that I didn't want to help, but since I came to the sect, I noticed that there are a lot of black sheep in the sect. I don't want such a sect. Moreover, this time I came back to establish a sect. If such people enter my sect, it will only corrupt it. So I want to use this incident to sift out those black sheep, and the remaining elites will be selected by my sect. My selection criteria is that I don't care how good your aptitude is. I only want people who are loyal to the sect. So this is a trial that I set. Only those who pass the trial will be qualified to enter the sect that I'm about to establish. In my sect, I will use resources that they can't imagine to cultivate them. So, after hearing Lin Rei's words, everyone present was shocked. They didn't expect that this teenager in front of them would have such wisdom. What was even more unexpected was that Lin Ray had the idea of establishing a sect. Yes, young master, I'm willing to disband the Danzong sect and join the sect that young master is about to establish. After hearing Dan Yunzi's words, all the elders who were still alive expressed their stance one by one. As for the disciples who were still alive, they looked at this scene with a dumbfounded expression. The man's mind was blank, and he seemed to have short-circuited. Well, since you have such a heart, then move as much as you can. This is the second trial that I'll give you. Get up, those traitors and invaders. As long as you kill them all, one of you will be able to enter my sect. Lin Ray's words aroused the hot-blooded anger in the hearts of the remaining people of the Danzong sect. At this time, they were full of enthusiasm, and everyone seemed to be full of energy. They raised their weapons and rushed towards the remaining disciples, elders, and traitors who were killed by Heilong. A bloody massacre began. This incident caused a sensation in the entire Western region, and it left a deep impact on people millions of years later. From then on, Lin Ray's name began to spread throughout the entire profound sky. However, his reputation wasn't that good. Some people named Lin Ray as Helajura, and some even called Lin Ray a demon. However, these were all stories for later. At this moment, the entire front of the Danzong sect was filled with killing, weapons clashing, cries, and begging for mercy. If a name had to be given, it would be the Western Symphony of Death, and Lin Ray was the composer of this Symphony of Death. There weren't many sects in the Western region to begin with. Moreover, the Danzong sect and the Sun sect were the two giants in the Western region. The battle between the two sects quickly attracted the scattered small sects in the Western region. They came to pick up the scraps, and some even came specifically to watch the show. However, when they arrived, they all regretted it. What they saw was a line of inhumane killing. It was a hell on earth that they had never seen before. With the help of the nascent soul, Supreme Elder, and Heilong, as well as the remaining few hundred disciples of the Danzong sect, the battle ended very quickly. Looking at the blood-soaked ground and the broken limbs on the ground made everyone vomit. The disciples who finished the battle didn't feel it during the battle, but after the battle ended, all of them held their stomachs and vomited at the same time. Even the higher-ups of the Danzong sect were the same, except for Heilong and Lin Ray, who were still standing upright. Sigh, Lin Ray, I don't know if it's right for me to help you like this. This is much more than the number of people I've killed before. Aren't you afraid that you'll be punished by the thunder tribulation when you go through the tribulation in the future? Lin Ray stood in place and watched everything that just happened indifferently. There was no emotion in his eyes. At this moment, Heilong came over and looked at Lin Ray's appearance. He couldn't help but persuade him. Thunder tribulation. Not to mention thunder tribulation. Even if it's thunder tribulation, what's there to be afraid of? Cultivators have always been going against the heavens. Blindly enduring or restraining oneself is not the Tao I want. I didn't expect you to be so involved. No wonder you can be so carefree. After hearing Lin Ray's words, Heilong couldn't help but be angry. Oh, right. Since you're a dragon, what do you think of the golden dragon? Heilong originally wanted to leave, but after hearing Lin Ray's question, he turned around and looked at Lin Ray with eyes full of questions. That's it. After saying that, Lin Ray directly summoned the golden dragon. However, this time, the golden dragon was only a foot-long little golden snake. However, this scene caused Heilong to be filled with shock. His eyes were wide open and filled with fear. You, how do you have this? Seeing Heilong's stuttering voice, Lin Ray smiled. He had never seen Heilong act like this. I subdued this inside the cloud pagoda. Just like you, it will leave once the time is up. However, I believe that at that time, even if I chase you away, you won't leave because you can't break through the seal outside the profound sky continent and go to the immortal world. Chapter 108. Lin Ray. Oh, Lin Ray, I really can't see what kind of secret you're hiding. Whether it's the person who controlled me, the pills that controlled these people, or the golden dragon that appeared in front of me now, There aren't many people in the Tianshan continent that I admire, but you're one of them. You're too serious. I'm just a lucky person. There's nothing special about me." Hearing the black dragon's words, Lin Rei's face revealed a trace of pride. However, Lin Rei hid it very well. No one present noticed Lin Rei's abnormality. "All right, Black Dragon. Now that the disciples of the Sun Sect who attacked the Danzong Sect have been killed, there's no need for the Sun Sect to remain. I'll have to trouble you to lead them to completely destroy the Sun Sect. Then bring back all the treasures of the Sun Sect." A sentence full of murderous ambition came out of Lin Rei's mouth so easily. If it weren't for Lin Rei's age, people would definitely think that there was a cold-blooded devil living in Lin Rei's body. Good. I admire your decisiveness. I'm now looking forward to how far you can grow in the future." After saying that, the black dragon directly went in the direction of the Sun Sect. Behind him, Baiyu and the other elders also chased after him. "Dan Yunzi, go and count how many disciples are left in the Danzong Sect. Also, immediately clear up the unstable factors. I don't want to see such things happen again in the future." After saying that, Lin Rei rode on the flying sword and rushed to his small courtyard. He was so fast that he was like a stream of light that streaked across the sky and flew into the distance. After hearing Lin Rei's order, Dan Yunzi checked one by one. After a while, Dan Yunzi filtered out more than 30 people from the 200 people. Seeing this scene, Dan Yunzi was very surprised. If it weren't for Lin Rei's reminder, these people would have successfully infiltrated the reorganized Danzong Sect. That would have been a great sin. Leaving the 30 people with ulterior motives behind, Dan Yunzi arranged for the others to clean up the scene. Although many people died, they were still cleaned up by the 100 disciples. The remaining 30 people were also dealt with by Dan Yunzi. After doing all this, Dan Yunzi tidied up his luggage and headed to the inner part of the Danzong Sect. As for the Black Dragon who was heading to the Sun Sect, he sped up. After arriving at the entrance of the Sun Sect, he began to kill. As long as it was someone he saw in the Sun Sect, he would not leave them alive. As for the elders who came later, they only plundered the treasures of the Sun Sect. The speed was very fast. Originally, the Sun Sect had already sent out all the elites this time. Those who stayed in the Sun Sect were either powerless or their relatives who were killed in the Danzong Sect. After a while, the Black Dragon released his body and waited until there was not a single Sun Sect disciple in the Sun Sect before he stopped the killing. "Say, Senior, our cultivation is still shallow. We are still unable to detect the location of the treasures in the Sun Sect. We hope that Senior can help us." At this moment, Baiyu walked up and bowed to the Black Dragon respectfully. There was not a trace of disrespect in his tone. Even his voice was not as loud as before. "All right." Looking at Baiyu's attitude, the Black Dragon did not refuse. Lin Rei had already told him before he came here. After saying that, the Black Dragon released his consciousness. In an instant, the Black Dragon's consciousness enveloped the entire Sun Sect. Wherever the Black Dragon's consciousness went, not a single bit of privacy would appear in the Black Dragon's mind. After a while, the Black Dragon's eyes narrowed, and he lifted his feet, intending to go deeper into the Sun Sect. After a while, the Black Dragon arrived at the main hall of the Sun Sect. Wow, this Sun Sect is indeed imposing. Just this main hall alone is not only built with a precious refining material, but there's also a level 4 spirit gathering formation here. How extravagant. It's much more imposing than your Danzong Sect. After arriving at the main hall and seeing everything in the hall, the Black Dragon turned his head and said to Baiyu, who was following behind him, Yeah, after all, the Danzong Sect is not good at martial arts. Usually, we can only use medicinal pills to exchange." After hearing the Black Dragon's words, Baiyu could not help but reveal an awkward expression. "All right, I'll stop fooling around with you. The thing you want is under that seat. As for how you want to get it, that's your problem. What about me? I'll take my leave first. Go back and tell Lin Rei that if he wants to find me, he can find me at Royal Pill City's Baiyin Pavilion. I'm a frequent visitor there." After saying that, the Black Dragon's figure faded out of everyone's sight. After hearing the black dragon's words, all the elders, including Bai, revealed a helpless expression. They could not understand why the black dragon liked to go to that place so much. All right, if everyone wants to see it, let's hurry up and get the thing and report back to the young master. After saying that, Bai took the lead and came to the side of the only seat in the main hall. He activated his cultivation technique and attacked the seat with all his might. Pong! The seat did not change at all. Instead, White Feather was bounced off the seat. Seeing this scene, Heavy Duty was shocked. What's going on? We know the strength of Grand Elder Bayou. Moreover, the Grand Elder clearly used his full strength. Even a severed soul stage cultivator would not dare to take it head on. I didn't expect. Forget it. Don't say anymore. I don't believe it. If we gather all our strength and attack with all our might, I don't believe that the seat won't be damaged. When the first elder saw that everyone was hesitating, he hurriedly gathered everyone together and threw them towards the seats together. Bang! After a loud sound, everyone looked at the seat that was being attacked with anticipation. Ha ha! I knew it. Isn't it just a seat? With everyone's combined strength, we can't break it. Seeing that the entrance was opened, everyone couldn't wait to rush in. Along the way, there were all kinds of traps and poisons. There were only things that one could not imagine and nothing that one could not see. Finally, everyone arrived at the treasure pavilion where the treasures were stored. My God, is this still a first-rate sect? I think this is comparable to the first-rate sects in the central continent. When the elders arrived at the treasure pavilion, they saw the scene before them. Not only were everyone stunned, they all stared at the things in front of them that they had never seen before. They even doubted why Sun Zong did not dare to discover such a worldly treasure. Cough, cough, cough. Everyone quickly keep it. Don't let the young master wait too long. After all, Bayou had seen the world, so he woke up after a short while. He walked over to the treasures and collected them while speaking to the elders who were in a daze. When he spoke, there was a trace of spiritual energy in his voice, as if he was afraid that the elders who were immersed in their fantasies couldn't hear him. Ha! Okay. Everyone woke up and no longer had any greed in their eyes. They used their storage rings to keep the treasures in front of them. At this moment, they were very happy. They were happy that today was a blessing in disguise. They thought that they were going to be killed, but now, not only did they destroy someone else's sect, they even came to the treasure pavilion of someone else's treasure pavilion to collect their treasures. Everyone moved very quickly. They cleaned out every corner of the treasure pavilion, leaving nothing behind. After they were done, they left the searching sect and flew towards the alchemy sect. At this moment, Lin Rei was suffering. He thought that he could rest when he returned to his courtyard. However, he did not expect Wan Yu to come here early after knowing that Lin Rei had returned. She was waiting for Lin Rei to take the bait. Ha, little Wan Yu, let me go. I won't dare to do it again. Didn't I bring you a junior brother when I came back? I've already thought about it. I'll let your junior brother practice with you in the future. Look, I've just come back and I'm tired. Let me rest for a while. When I'm done resting, I'll come and talk to you. What do you think? At this moment, Lin Rei was very sad. On the way back to the courtyard, he had already decided that he would sleep as soon as he returned. He did not expect to meet Wan Yu. What was even more depressing was that Wan Yu was angry because Lin Rei had not returned for such a long time. She was bored to death and blocked the door, not allowing him to enter. Master, where have you been these days? Uncle Xiao Tian came back and told me that you were missing. Do you know how sad and scared I was? I came back here every day to wait for you to come back. But you didn't come to see me when you came back. The first thing you did when you came back was sleep. Looking at Wan Yu's appearance, Lin Rei wanted to die. However, in order to get rid of Wan Yu's entanglement as soon as possible, the only thing Lin Rei could do was to compromise and satisfy all of Wan Yu's desires. Okay, don't cry. Tell me, Master can satisfy whatever you want. How about when Master establishes a sect, I'll confer you the title of Saintess. Seeing Lin Rei's appearance, estranged, who had followed Lin Rei back, felt very absent-minded. At this time, Lin Rei did not look like the murderous master from before. Instead, he looked like a father who was coaxing his child. His tone was gentle, and his eyes were full of doting. This is what you said. You can't go back on your words. If you do, I'll tell others. I'll say that my master Lin Rei is a bad guy who doesn't keep his promises. Seeing Wan Yu finally speak, Lin Rei knew that things would be much easier. His face was full of smiles as he looked at Wan Yu. Okay, now that Master has promised you, let Master go in first. Master hasn't been paying attention these days. Look at Master's dark circles. Although Estrange knew that Lin Rei was joking, when she saw Lin Rei pointing at her eyes, she felt that Lin Rei was really naughty and adorable. Oh, by the way, tell Tian Yun and Ming to wait for me. Also, tell them to bring the children to me. As for your junior brother, Master will leave him to you. Do whatever you want. Just remember, don't kill him. Having said that, Lin Rei did not wait for Wan Yu's response. He immediately activated the system's teleportation skill and disappeared before Wan Yu's eyes. When he reappeared, he was already in front of his room. Ah, Master, you tricked me again. Looking at this scene, Wan Yu knew that she had been deceived by Master. She wanted to go in and clarify things with Lin Rei, but was stopped by Estranged. Senior sister, don't disturb Master. These days, Master has been really tired in order to rush back. It's not good for you to be so unreasonable. With just one sentence, Wan Yu, who wanted to go in and find her master, was pulled back. She turned her head and looked at the junior brother that her master had just brought back. A bright light flashed in her eyes. She took a big stride forward, grabbed his estranged hand, and madly ran into the distance. At this time, Lin Rei, who had just entered the room, was afraid that Wan Yu would come in and cause trouble for him. Therefore, he had been using his divine sense to observe Wan Yu's every move. However, he did not expect that Estranged, who had been silent all this time, would speak up to defend Lin Rei and scold Wan Yu. Seeing this scene, Lin Rei, who was lying on the bed, mourned for Estranged for 3 full seconds. Then, he withdrew his divine sense and closed his eyes, falling asleep. The elders who went to look for the sect had all returned to the sect. However, after knowing that Lin Rei had fallen asleep, they did not rashly come to disturb him. Instead, they handed over their storage rings to Bai Yu and returned to their respective rooms. As for Wan Yu, according to Lin Rei's instructions, she pulled Estranged to the place where Ming and Tian Yun were training. Young Miss, Estranged has something to tell us. Ming and Tian Yun, who were busy training their disciples, stopped what they were doing when they sensed Wan Yu's aura. They walked up to Wan Yu and asked respectfully, "Don't call me that. Young Miss, I'm not used to it. Just call me you are like Uncle Tian, or Wan Yu is fine too." Ha! After hearing Wan Yu's words, Ming and Tian Yun immediately knelt on the ground and said to Wan Yu, "Rules cannot be broken. After all, you are Master's disciple. It is only right for us to call you young Mississippi." Wan Yu sighed when she saw Ming and Tian Yun's reaction. She shook her head and did not care about it anymore. "All right, all of you stand up. I am here on my master's orders. Take your disciples and wait in front of Master's door. When Master wakes up, he wants to see the results of your training." What? Master is back? When the two heard Wan Yu say that Lin Rei was back, they did not hide the excitement on their faces. Yes. We will take our disciples to Master's residence in a moment. Young Miss, we will take our leave first. After saying that, Ming and Tian Yun went to the place where the disciples were training. They led the 100 disciples to the door of Lin Rei's room and waited. The news of Sun Sect's annihilation and Dan Sect's destruction instantly spread throughout the entire Tianxian continent, regardless of whether it was the central continent or the northern continent. As Lin Li's name was spread by everyone, he instantly became a household name in the entire continent. There was no one who did not know that a 15-year-old child had actually given the order to annihilate tens of thousands of people. When everyone heard Lin Li's name, they had a premonition in their hearts that Lin Li's future achievements would not be underestimated. Chapter 109. The appearance of Lin Rei's name sent the entire Tianxian continent into an uproar. The originally peaceful situation was thus broken. Everyone was speculating about Lin Rei's background. Even the sects and empires of the central continent sent people to inquire about Lin Rei. After returning to the Danzong sect, Lin Rei returned to his room and slept for 3 days. Time passed quietly just like that. The people who inquired about Lin Rei's background investigated for a long time, but found nothing. No one knew where Lin Rei came from. From then on, all the sects and empires paid close attention to Lin Rei and the Danzong sect. 3 days later, Lin Rei finally woke up from his sleep. The first thing Lin Rei did when he opened his eyes was to change his clothes and stretch his body. Then, he opened the door and walked outside. We have brought 100 children brought back by the great elders of the Danzong sect. We are here to report the results of these disciples' cultivation to the young master. Greetings, young master. The moment the sleepy Lin Rei walked out, he heard the deafening voices. Instantly, Lin Rei woke up. Seeing the scene in front of him, Lin Rei smiled. Not bad. Everyone has reached the upper stage of foundation establishment. Not bad. I didn't expect you to work so hard these past few months. The moment he saw the 100 disciples, he released his divine sense to investigate the children's cultivation. After seeing this, Lin Rei revealed a manly expression. Yes, we have obeyed the young master's orders. We didn't dare to slack off for a moment and supervise the disciples' cultivation day and night. Most importantly, the Danzong sect master has sent us pills. These past few months, they have never stopped. I saw it. I saw the results of your cultivation over the past few months. I am very satisfied. As he spoke, Lin Rei walked in front of the 100 disciples. Looking at these future pillars of the Xuanzong sect, he felt extremely gratified. You may not have seen me before, but what I want to say is that you are all the future geniuses of the Xuanzong sect. As long as you work hard, I will choose 2 elders and a few enforcers from among you. As for those who are special, don't blame me for not reminding you. You are all the same and have the same status. No matter who you are, as long as you cultivate to the level I want in advance, you will be rewarded. These encouraging words came out of Lin Li's mouth. Everyone who heard Lin Li's words felt as though they had been detonated by an atomic bomb, causing a huge uproar. Young master, is what you said true? Can we, the disciples, have the chance to achieve the things and status you speak of? At this moment, a submissive voice rang out from the front. Hearing this voice, Lin Li's gaze turned to the front. A young man with delicate features and a skinny figure appeared in Lin Li's line of sight. He was a little short in stature. That's right. I admire your courage. What I said is true. As long as any of you can reach the level I want in advance, you can take the position of elder at any time. After receiving confirmation, all the children present jumped up in excitement. Seeing this scene, Lin Rei felt a sense of loss in his heart. Tian Yiming, you are very good. When I return, I will reward you. Take them away first. When I return, I will make further arrangements for your people. Yes, young master. After saying that, Tianyun saw that Lin Rei had already disappeared. Tianyun brought the 100 disciples back to their original cultivation area. After handing over the mission, Lin Rei rode on his flying sword and flew towards the Great Assembly Hall. Lin Rei arrived at the Great Assembly Hall very quickly. He raised his foot and walked in. Seeing the elders and Dan Yunzi, who were already waiting for him, Lin Rei revealed an embarrassed expression. Cough, cough, cough. Cultivators have waited for a long time. Because I just returned, there was nothing I could do. It's fine, young master. We also just arrived. Hearing Lin Rei's words, Dan Yunzi hurriedly tried to smooth things over. All right. Now, tell me what good things you took back from the Sun sect. After saying that, Lin Rei went to the sect master's seat and sat down. Young master, we really did have some gains this time. The main credit is because of that senior. If it wasn't for that senior, we really wouldn't have been able to obtain the Sun sect's treasures so smoothly. Hearing Bai Yu's words, Lin Rei's eyes flashed. He began to plan in his heart, but on the surface, He looked at Baiyu with a serious expression. Take out the things you plundered from Asun's sect first. Take out all the ingredients for concocting pills and order people to concoct pills overnight. As for the rest, we will distribute them separately after I establish the Sun sect. Hearing Lin Rei's words, everyone smiled happily. When they heard that he was going to take out all the simple ingredients they had obtained from the Sun sect to concoct pills, the elders who live by concocting pills were overjoyed. In the next 2 days, I want you to organize all the finances of the Danzong sect so that it will be convenient for us to go to the sect's new land of fortune. What? Young master, are you saying that you want to give up the Danzong sect's current sect and choose another place to be the new sect's sect master? Upon hearing Linley's plan, everyone's faces changed, revealing troubled looks. Linley could tell that they had been free here for tens of millions of years. They had long since grown attached to every blade of grass and every tree here. That's right. We want to leave this place. Do you think that everything will be fine after we destroy the Sun sect? You should know that the Sun sect is just a sect without any challenge. Moreover, the other sects are now interested in annexing our sect that doesn't have many elites. If we don't leave now, do you want to be annexed by others or be destroyed by others? Hearing Lin Rei's words, everyone seemed to have been enlightened. At this moment, their hearts were cold, and the cold sweat on their backs had already soaked their clothes. Sigh, young master is still thinking far ahead. With the current strength of the sect's disciples, even a third-rate sect can easily destroy us. If it wasn't for that senior who offended us and helped us, perhaps we would have been dead by now. Dan Yunzi said the truth in his heart. All the elders nodded in unison with a look of shame on their faces. All right, as for the new land of fortune of the sect, let's build it in the Ling Tian Forbidden Zone. The spiritual qi there is abundant, and there are many demonic beasts living around it. It will be convenient for the disciples to cultivate. Lin Rei's words shocked everyone present. They never thought that Lin Rei would be in a place as dangerous as the Ling Tian Forbidden Zone. Although the spiritual qi there was dense, it was undeniable that if there was no murderer there, it might really be a good place to build a sect. All right, this matter is settled. When the time comes, you won't question my choice. Also, send someone to find He Long, tell him that there is a new task for him. After speaking, Lin Rei didn't give anyone a chance to speak. Instead, he walked out of the hall alone. The elders and Dan Yunzi in the hall originally had some doubts, but in the end, they chose to believe in Lin Rei. As for Baiyu, she went ahead to the Royal Pill City to find He Long. It's time to establish the sect. I just don't know how much experience points I can get from establishing the sect now. While thinking about flying to Wan Yu's palace, he also thought about how much experience points he could get from completing the task. With his current experience points, 600 million was only enough to raise his strength. You haven't even established the sect yet, and you're already thinking about getting the experience points from completing the task? You're always like this, thinking about unrealistic things every day. While Lin Rei was fantasizing about the experience points, a basin of cold water directly washed away the experience points. Mother of Asterisker, little dragon, are you crazy? I've already told you to go to the toilet. Don't wake me up at this time. You're always like this. Do you think it's good? After regaining his senses, Lin Rei looked at the little dragon in front of him. He pointed at the little dragon's nose and scolded it. You're still talking about it. I'm here to remind you that establishing a sect isn't something you can just do as you wish. First of all, establishing a sect requires people. The total number of people in your sect doesn't exceed 500. You want to get experience points with this number. Tell me, isn't this just a pipe dream? Lin Rei, who was still angry, suddenly woke up after hearing the little dragon's analysis. Also, establishing a sect requires a Great Sect Protection Formation. Although the Danzong sect's Great Sect Protection Formation is the trashiest and trashiest formation, didn't it still last for 2 days? Therefore, a Great Sect Protection Formation is indispensable. Also, with your and those people's current strength, it's impossible to take back the Cloud Pagoda. Then, My suggestion is to find the black dragon and let him be the Xuanzong Sect's divine guardian beast. At the same time, you can also let the little golden dragon in the cloud pagoda quickly increase its strength and strive to reach the combination realm within a year. Only then can it have a place in the Tianxian continent. After hearing the little dragon's thoughts and suggestions, Lin Rei couldn't help but admit that he was really too meticulous. He was much more meticulous than he thought. All right, I remember that there are great Sect protection formations in the exchange center, right? Yes, there are, but with your current exchange points, you can at most exchange for one that's slightly better than the Danzong Sect's great Sect protection formation. Yes, I understand. After saying this, Lin Rei went to Wan Yu's residence. As soon as he arrived, he heard Wan Yu's voice begging for mercy. Junior brother, let me go. I won't dare to do it again. If Master finds out that you bullied me, Master will definitely punish you. Hearing this, Lin Rei quickly walked in. As soon as he opened the door, he saw that Alienation had already used a spell to freeze Alienation. All right, stop messing around. Hurry up and pack up. We're going to leave the sect and go to another place. Once we're there, Master will definitely make a training plan for you so that you can quickly increase your strength. That way, you won't lose Master's face. After speaking, Linley began to walk outside. Alienation followed him out. As for Wan Yu, she was still frozen there by Alienation, not moving at all. Let's go. Come back with Master. After saying this, Lin Rei brought Alienation to his courtyard. He turned his head and said to Alienation, Alienation, Master still has things to do. Find a place to stay first. Once we're in the new sect, Master will explain to you what you don't understand. Yes, Master. Hearing Lin Rei's words, Alienation obediently went to the room next door, while Lin Rei returned to his own room. Time passed quickly. During these 2 days, it was very lively inside the Danzong sect. Everyone knew that they were going to the new sect, so they all moved and helped to move things. Dian Wei and Bai Qi, who had gone out to gain experience, came back. They heard that the Danzong sect was besieged, so they hurried back to help. However, when they came back, they learned that the Sun sect had been destroyed a few days ago. What's more, Dian Wei and Bai Qi came back with hundreds of disciples. These were all orphans that they had chosen when they were on the Tianxian continent. They were all chosen according to the method that Lin Rei taught them. All of them had good spiritual roots, and there were even dozens of children with best spiritual roots. Seeing this, Lin Rei was very happy. What made Lin Rei most happy was Dian Wei and Bai Qi. After experiencing the edge of life and death for several months, their cultivation had improved greatly. Originally, they were in the Foundation Establishment realm, but now they had reached the Upper Gold Core realm. Today was the day they left the Danzong sect. On this day, everyone came to the gate of the Danzong sect early. Everyone was in a heavy mood, especially Dan Yunzi, the elders, and the original disciples of the Danzong sect. In their hearts, this place had long become their home. They were really reluctant to leave. Well, Black Dragon, after we leave, destroy all the buildings and halls here. Don't leave anything behind. When you're done, go to the Lingtian Forbidden Area and find us. When you arrive at the entrance of Lingtian, I'll ask someone to lead the way for you. Okay, I got it. Hearing Lin Rei's words, Black Dragon agreed without hesitation. Then, Lin Rei led everyone to fly towards the Lingtian Forbidden Area. Everyone carried a few people on their swords. Their speed was very fast. At this time, the sky hadn't really brightened yet, so not many people noticed them. As for Black Dragon, he followed Lin Rei's instructions and flew above the Danzong sect. He used all his strength to destroy all the buildings here. As for those who heard the commotion, they all came to see. Before the sky brightened, the entire Tianxian continent already knew about this scene. As the saying goes, good news never leaves the house, but bad news spreads for 1,000 miles. This sentence was not wrong. Everyone thought that the people of the Danzong sect had offended someone important and was exterminated. They didn't know that everyone in the Danzong sect had already arrived at the Lingtian Forbidden Area. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.